So before we get started with any of the questions or discussions, I do want to invite anyone that's listening to feel free to jump in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or YouTube or Steam, and put whatever questions you want us to answer. We've got Jim and Alex both keeping an eye on those, and they will put those in a very special secret cheat sheet I have so that we know to ask those questions later in the stream. So without any further ado, I have to look at I wrote a very special title for Bob here. Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Bob Ritchie, second of his name, founder, creator, owner, CEO, lead developer, composer, and head writer of Eat Games. Welcome, Bob. And thank you for paying for this event. We joked about having a sponsor for this, and technically Bob Ritchie did actually sponsor this event because he owns Eat Games. So my first question for our listeners, and we're talking about the history of House Party and Eat Games here. Eat Games, when did that start?
I think I officially started the company in 2018, probably right at the top of the year. Okay,
but Eat itself, that has been a thing for you much longer than Eat Games, has it not?
Yeah. So you're asking where the name came from? Basically, everything I do is kind of branded Eek. I actually had originally started as a record label that I started probably when I was in my mid-20s, and I just didn't. I was trying to think of a cool acronym like electronic music EE something, and I just couldn't think of a good acronym, but I liked Eek, so I just kept it. It doesn't mean anything.
So was there always an exclamation point, or was that just special for the game company?
The exclamation point I like there aesthetically, but I'm not allowed to put it on anything, like any legal documents or anything.
Oh, really?
Well, because they don't accept those special characters. So technically there's no exclamation point, but it's there for DBA, I suppose, doing business as.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Would have been helpful to know that 5 years ago before I filled out a lot of contracts with that on it. Oops.
I always say that. Well, we have a DBA is with the exclamation point. That's how I had to do it. So technically, we're fine.
Sure. Excellent. So, the name for the tool and the engine that's behind House Party, and I assume all the future products that we're going to make, I have to give myself a quick pat on the back because I came up with the catchy name for it, the Eek engine, about a week or two ago. But for our listeners, and I say that because I think most of us here know, but what was originally the intent of that? Like, how did that come to be? What were you building at the forefront of all this?
Well, originally, I was building my own game engine. And I with the advent of like engines like Unity's and things of that nature, I started looking into Unity, and I was always jumping on game engines when they came out, probably for a while. So Unity came along, and Unity was the one that I really liked. Like programmatically, it was very similar to what I was trying to do in the background, and they obviously, with a huge engine like Unity, they accomplished way more than I could have ever accomplished. So I said, maybe I'll kind of shift gears and start writing like a plugin for the Unity engine. So I started writing the Eat character engine, and that's actually what House Party was originally. Actually, the first game that I got running on the Eat engine, which is kind of interesting, is a real-time strategy game that fully ran.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it worked. It was like I had an early prototype of it and whatnot, but I was just kind of prototyping it to kind of be flexible and work with any type of game. It was coming out pretty good, and I was like, maybe I kind of want to do something with somebody else, do anything with it. So that's kind of when House Party was.
And you're like, no, fuck that. I need this for myself. So that real-time strategy game, what was that? What was that called?
I didn't have a name. It was just, I was literally just downloading assets off the Unity store, plugging them in, giving them hit points, and giving them weapons and things of that. I down like warrior figures and things of that nature that had like combat animations, and I just plugged them in. And the engine really just kind of made the game work. So I could literally plug House Party characters into that engine and have a real-time strategy. It would work just as well. So
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because my next question was going to be, if enough people asked for it, would it be possible to create like a real-time strategy game with the house party characters. You just answered that. But would we do it though? How many? Wait, new question. How many people would have to ask for it for us to do it? What's the number?
Probably like 27 max.
27. Okay, everyone, please start asking in the chat. You heard it. You heard it. So,
John, you need to stop asking people to give us questions because we have a million to catch up on. No, or we should start answering them. Like, I think there's some good stuff in here actually.
Oh, amazing.
Sorry, not to derail you. I know you're on our way.
Oh, no. That's good to know. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Guys, you can just tone it down a little bit. Oh, boy.
Keep it going.
Okay.
Keep it coming. Don't have to deal with it.
So you made a character engine, and then somehow this became House Party. And I actually used to know this, but I forgot. But who came up with the name House Party?
I did. I just that was the theme of the game, and I mean really there wasn't any other game branded or called House Party, so I was like, I'll call it House Party.
Sure. Yeah. And I think at this point, at least last time I looked, we've actually been around and done well enough that I think we're at the top of the list when you Google House Party. We beat the chatting app that we were competing with for Google attention for all these years.
The one that no longer exists, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we put them out of business with our success. So you made House Party, and how did you get started with that concept? Like, what was the idea? What was the inspiration, both in like pop culture, but also game wise, for what evolved to become House Party?
I mean, I was really at the time I was trying to figure out like what to write a game about, and I mean, like I was kind of looking to see like what was popular, and of course, like violence, gore, etc. And I was kind of looking for cues like in the movie industry, like what was popular on TV, and like try to find other themes that were kind of popular in pop culture, etc. And it was actually, this is back like 2015, 2016, when things like Game of Thrones were like, Game of Thrones was like the hottest show on television with all the, nudity and sex and taboos, etc. So I was kind of like, nudity and sex are popular. So I figured, well, let me write a game, kind of centered around, and I was kind of thinking like, well, what would be a good game concept for that? And I just kind of House Party popped into my head, and like House Party setting where kind of walk in, kind of GTA style, could do whatever you want. And, and I've always been fascinated by like those old choose your own adventure type games, games where choices matter, like Leisure Suit Larry, those old adventure style games. So I kind of wanted to marry that to like a modern type of game, because there weren't really any modern games that had that feel, but also felt up to date in terms of like what other people are, playing. So. Right. Yeah, so it started. I all of a sudden, random YouTubers started playing the game on YouTube, and it's funny because I didn't even know that was kind of a thing. That people played video games on YouTube, and people watched people playing video games on YouTube, especially back then.
Right.
So I was kind of like, oh, cool, this guy's playing my game on YouTube, and then all of a sudden it was all these people that I mean, some of them I knew, like I knew who PewDiePie was and Jacksepticeye, I think, but I didn't realize it was going to trickle all the way up to them. And it was kind of weird because it started with the little guys, and then their audiences started basically telling other audiences that, hey, you got to check out this game, House Party, etc. So yeah, it kind of trickled up to the big guys, and it was crazy. When PewDiePie played the game, brought the server to its knees. With people trying to download House Party, I had to call my my server company and basically tell them I need all the bandwidth that I can get. I'm just
like, this is an emergency. Yeah, fix it now.
Yeah. So then, and then the first person to join the team was Dawn. Basically I was like, hey, check out this game that I wrote, and he checked it out, and he's like, who are all these people playing your game? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what happened. I just wrote a game, and like all these people started playing it. And so I sent it. So he's like, send me a copy of this game. So I sent him a copy of the game, and in Don fashion, he just sent me back a spreadsheet with a bunch of stuff that was wrong with it that I needed to fix. Nice. So I was like, okay, great. So I fixed all the stuff, and I sent him another build, and then he sent me another spreadsheet like a week later. So I was like, do you want me to start paying you for this at some point? Or And yeah, so then he came on board, and then I was talking to you, John, and yeah, I was telling you about how, things are kind of blowing up, and I started needing help, and you were the second person to come on, and then we started building the team from there, the rest of the team from there.
So I have to hill back to the story of how Don came on, because I'm pretty sure like spreadsheets with problems on them is Don's love language, and I could be wrong. Don, do you have anything you want to speak to that?
Spreadsheets and just a nice long sigh, I think.
Nice long sigh, yeah.
Like from the gut sigh really just gets me going.
So, Don, actually, now that you've broken the seal in the stream here, so to speak, so right now, I believe you are the CTO of Eat Games, correct? The Chief Technology Officer, is that right?
Something like that is what I've been told.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before that, I'm trying to remember. I believe you were the Vice President of Quality Assurance and User Experience. Is that correct?
Some bullshit title that I made up because paperwork and other things. And yeah. Yep.
So, and the reason I bring up your titles is, and I guess my brain's not fast enough to put an acronym together for your old title, but I noticed that like the amount of letters in your title went down with the promotion. So my question is, like, are you gunning for a one-letter title at some point? Is such a thing exist? Like, is that the next step for you at Eat Games?
That would be nice. I think just P.
Just P.
A little bit just P. If I have a business card, I'll hand that to people. It won't even have my name. It'll just say P in that kind of splattery ink font. And then people wonder why they accepted the meeting with me, why I'm in front of them at all, what choices led them to this point. Yeah, so sure.
Wonderful. So, Bob, back to you real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Don. What was that? Nothing
Worth continuing.
Okay, all right. So, Bob, catching up here to around the time in the history that Don and I came on board, which I recall that time very well. What was the turning point for you, like career-wise, where you knew it was worth just taking the jump and making this the full-time thing? Because I know like you were doing this as like essentially like a side gig, a side project for I think a couple of years at least before you went to this full-time. So what was kind of the turning point there?
Well, when the game hit Steam, obviously that's been our biggest catalyst for sales.
Yeah.
So it really just depended on whether or not, I had enough income to support myself. And, at some point it just got to the point where, it was just like, I had a day job, and I was kind of at an impasse because it was just, the game was taking up so much of my time, and I was still trying to juggle a full-time job, I was a programmer. And I just kind of hit a crossroads, and I was like, it was actually funny because I just called my manager on one Monday morning. I said, listen, I need, I can't be in this week. And I didn't really go into why. And just, there was so much going on with the game. And, he was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, just, stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. And, at the end of the week, of course, I got a call from HR, and, it was probably the most pleasant HR conversation that they've ever had. Cause they were kind of like, hey, that employee company contract we have with you, I think we're going to sever that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. No problem. See you guys. So, it was,
so they made it easy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So the first two platforms that you mentioned that House Party were on, itch.io and Game Jolt, for anyone that may be listening or might listen in the future that is like an indie dev that's aspiring to have their own project out there, can anyone put a game on those platforms? Like, is there any special qualification process you have to do, or like how does that work in short?
No, I mean, yeah, anybody could put anything up there, as long as it's technically a video game. I don't even know if there might be other stuff on itch.io. I don't know if they do exclusively video games, but I think that's their biggest thing. But yeah, any other game development, I would say that's the place to start. It wasn't that was the turning point for me when I put it up there. That was when people started noticing it. I had no idea that all these, influencers on YouTube and whatnot, scouted out those sites to look for new games to play on their channels. A lot of them, really enjoyed playing new, indie games that were popping up on there, and House Party stuck out to them and resonated with them. And that's basically what launched everything.
Wow. And how did you get the word out on those platforms, or did it just kind of like happen outside of your influence, so to speak?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I literally just put the game up and it just happened.
That's wild.
The game kind of spoke for itself. I mean, I think that that's kind of the thing on those sites. All these free games that come out and whatnot, people just download them and check them out, and if they're good, they play them.
Right, absolutely. So now that, and we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but have we publicly announced what the date is of the House Party Phone launch? Does anyone know? Is that public knowledge yet? Jim, Alex, Don?
I don't think so.
Anyone? Okay, so it's very soon. It's very soon, which I know is relatively ambiguous, but like it's really very soon. So, anyways, all that to say, it's been 4 or 5 years now since Eat Games became a company, and so my question is, now that we're so close to full launch for House Party, is what it is today in this state, is it what you envisioned when you actually named it House Party and you started making it, or is it something different now? And how is it different if it is?
Yeah, I know it's closer. It's closer now to my original vision. Obviously being a solo dev, part time, working on a game of this size all on my own. I had to piecemeal everything and add things very slowly and one by one. And, it didn't get to the point where, female player, it was funny because I went back and looked at my old Steam posts when I announced the female playthrough in 2017. So, but I mean, it was designed that way where, we didn't want to start on that before we finish versions all the way along, and then potentially prolong updates as we came out. So that was kind of a conscious decision that we made, that we do that at the end. But yeah, now with all that, it's definitely more in line. My original vision was, to have the branching storylines and all your choices matter, and have all the stories intertwine with each other, and have the female playthrough and everything of that nature.
As a writer, because obviously right now you're our head writer, and pretty much have been the head writer the whole time, even when we've had other people write content for the game. How do you write a story where people's choices actually matter? How do you even conceptualize that? Because I guess I'm not a writer, but I guess when I think of a story, there's a beginning, middle, and end. There's a path that it follows. So how do you even conceptualize from the ground up the sort of story that exists in House Party?
I think it got easier as time went on because House Party already had all these stories in it. So as I wrote each story subsequently on top of another story, it was easy for me to kind of work that new story into the old story, and kind of it's really just a matter of, I think, just kind of thinking about the different paths that the player would take, and kind of just envisioning what kind of choices the scenarios would kind of offer up, which choices seem interesting to give the player that choice, which choices, don't seem that interesting, which ones can I just drive the story along, and which other choices can I say, okay, this is going to be a choice that matters, you know what I mean? And then I have to think about how that matters and how that matters to the other stories around it. But it does get more challenging though, to think about that in the context as we've added 15 NPCs, and all of their stories connect to each other. So it's been, it gets exponentially harder every time. So
I imagine so. So in a sense, it's almost like each story in and of itself segregated is almost like a line but all these other stories are kind of like in a row of lines, and they all might intersect with every other line at various points, and then every time you add it, it's just exponentially increasing the intersections, sort of like that.
Right. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just had to like turn that into like a Gantt chart in my head so I can understand. Which thank you, Jim, production assistant, because I didn't know what a Gantt chart was until you started working for us. So thank you. All right, so Don, I'd love to jump back in and explore your story a little bit more. Let me just pin you here so you're big. Nice shirt, by the way. Fashion shirts, yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure everyone will see this in graceful fashion. Let's go. Let's do it.
So Bob mentioned kind of in brief how you came to be connected with EEK, but like what was going on with you at the time? How did you get interested in it? And I would even add one more question before you answer. Was it ever your plan to make your career working for a game studio?
Yeah, as someone who grew up playing a lot of games, yeah, it was kind of always a dream to work in the industry. It was a CS degree. I was kind of placed in a way so that it could happen, but I drifted away from the industry, and really it just Bob asked me wanted to know what I thought of the game he was working on, and feedback was feedback, and it was provided. So
Yeah, it was.
I was pretty gradual going into it because I had a full-time job at the time, and I, as you can imagine, for someone my responsibility and skill set, quality decisions. I kind of just made a slow transition and just took on as much as I could. Probably too much for a little bit, and then just landed there. I mean, what did I think about it though? I was, happy to be doing something new and happy to be working on a game.
So, all right, Don, I'm going to pose you two more questions if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
So, as we all in e-games know, I don't want to say what your job is, but I'm going to say the two things you're most famous for in e-games are, number one, breaking games, which you're incredibly good at. So, congratulations. And the second thing is you have implemented almost all of the story content that's in the game, whether Bob or someone else has written it. So, first question is, do you love breaking games, or are you just good at it?
It depends. How much of a problem do I have with the person who made the game? I get very excited about breaking it. No, I guess I do things that I think work well in other games, and I try to hold the product I work on to a certain standard. And if it doesn't meet parity with other things I've known and loved, then then I'm gonna bring that up. But it's really, I mean, anybody can break something. What's harder than breaking something is picking something apart in a way that's going to matter to users. I mean, I could go work on Elden Ring or something, or some game that's universally lauded, and I could break it in some way, but is it going to matter to you? So I like finding things and breaking and finding problems that will make the game more enjoyable to those who play it. That's what I actually like.
Great, fantastic answer. Thank you, Alex. I believe you got a
weird bodily part physics issues. If it has to do with that, I'll take anything.
Alex, do you have something? You got a question?
Yeah. Do you want to go through some of the questions I had over here?
Yeah. Let's do some questions from the listeners.
All right. So we're going to try to get to some questions, guys. So I have a few that I copied, but don't have all of them. So if I didn't get yours, if you want to just ask again, we'll get to it. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'll start with Peter 980.
Who's that guy?
How many?
Meter 980.
He's actually got a few questions. How many copies of the game got sold since it entered early access on Steam? That's a cool one.
Bob, I'll let you take that one.
We're over 1 million now. I don't know the exact number, but we're yeah, a little north of 1 million.
Very cool.
Which everyone knows is when you become a real company, when you've done 1 million of any single thing, that's when you become legitimate. So we did it.
RV3 the Man. Any plans for beyond the Doja Cat DLC?
Oh
That's
yeah,
a good question.
we just can't tell you any of them.
A ejaculation shoot 'em up co-op with hero classes.
What about can we tell them about the raunchy Care Bears game? Just
Sure.
kidding. Alex Robbins
Who's that?
says, for anyone who wants to answer, what did you work on before House Party?
Oh, that's a good question.
Does anybody want to answer that?
Oh, that wasn't for Bob specifically. That was for anyone.
That was for anyone who wants to answer.
You know, I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that
All right.
one because I haven't been talking enough during this thing. So
True.
before House Party, I was the general manager of a fast casual restaurant in Sarasota, Florida. It's like as unrelated as you could possibly get to this. And not only that, but Bob can attest to this, but I have a terrible history of technology. Just like it hasn't worked for me for most of my life, like no matter what, just basic stuff. I was one of those people, which led to many funny interchanges between Bob and I in our band days and beyond. But anyone else, feel free to jump in and answer that one too.
I used to work for the phone company for a while.
We're so boring.
A little bit closer to John's because it was more like the tech side, like internet, TV, phone. But before that, I worked in restaurants too, actually. So yeah, a lot different too. But I think it's everybody's dream to work for a game company, right? It's pretty cool. Excited. Let's see what else we got. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a good one.
America. Yes. That's wise. Good timing. Good timing.
Yeah, I had some. I was an electromechanical engineer, and we had projects ranging, from Apple's data centers to.
I thought that means surge protectors.
Yes, I personally made surge protectors. That's right. And I was electrical and data center critical infrastructure. So some government projects, some big, So those government projects are fun. Just a blank, it's a bid spec with some redactions and then some drawings that someone really tried to mark up.
Hey, it worked. Yeah. Yeah. You could take it easy now. Mission accomplished. Yeah.
Does anybody else want to answer that before we grab another one?
An amusing answer to that. I aside from what my regular, day jobs, House Party wasn't my first game. I had a game called Crash Derby. It was a Facebook game.
That's right.
It actually got really popular on Facebook. It was like the #1 game on Woogly for a while. I don't think Woogly's even around anymore, but that tells you how long ago that was. But or was it Woogly? I don't remember what the site name was, but we were the #1 game on there, and it was
amazing.
It's like a demolition derby game, and I actually did all the voiceover announcer stuff myself, and I did music for it and whatnot. It was kind of cool.
You didn't kill on E-Bombs World or Newgrounds?
No, it was strictly Facebook because I had a whole database structure that was tied into Facebook. Remember back when Facebook gaming was a thing and people paid for Flash games on Facebook?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'd love to.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I'd love to give Zigga and Y a little bit of love because
100%.
first of all, Zigga and Y are collectively our art team, and they. Can I say what country you guys live in? Is that too specific? Okay.
Well, you would be doxing me, so I'm not sure if that's.
It's a small country, so.
It's okay. It's okay. For me, it's okay.
They live in Europe. No, they live in the Netherlands, and for them it is now 12:50 a.m. So they're actually in the future, relative to people that are in the United States. So thank you guys, and to anyone else.
May.
Yeah, thank you to everyone in the Eastern Hemisphere for tuning in on this and either participating or listening. Love it. So, Zigga, my first question is for you. And that question is, how did you discover House Party, and how soon after you discovered it was your thought, oh shit, this game is horrible, I really need to help them because it looks like garbage?
Okay, that's a good question. So I have a friend. He's a little bit older than me. I also knows him. We've been friends for a long time, and he likes to browse those specific video websites that you often hear about, that are for adults only.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, he saw House Party as an ad on one of those sites, and he played it because he wanted to see what it's all about. So he was playing it, and he showed me and some other friends, and yeah, at that point, I thought this game looks really shit, and they need my help.
Hey, we thought those ads never got us anything. They got to sing them. I didn't know that story. That's amazing.
That's true. That's true. I came through the ads. If my friend wasn't a complete degenerate, then this wouldn't have happened.
That's the one good thing that came out of our. Can I say it?
Well, wait. That's also you got Lie by extension. So
Well,
that's true.
Both of you guys.
Sure. And real quick, before I move on, Zigga, I've got some more questions here, but I wanted to say welcome to Katabelle. Thank you so much for joining. Katabelle, for any listener that doesn't know, is the voice of Vicky Vixen, one of the most beloved House Party characters. Katabelle, would you mind just, if you could give me a little bit of a vocal test there? I just want to make sure your levels are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds good.
Perfect.
Wow, if I close my eyes, it's like Vicky joined this call.
Hey, cadet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that was amazing. Okay, so
Yeah, it's
so
nice to meet you guys, by the way. Yeah, just want to say.
Nice to meet you too. We've never been in have any of us ever been in a call with you before, or is this the first time?
I don't think so. I'm trying to see if I.
No,
I don't think so. Yeah.
We couldn't handle it. I was
Oh, that's right. Oh, lovely cat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I know it's weird listening to the voice, and they're not like audio processing and putting in the game.
Yeah, we've been hearing Vicky's voice like every day for up to five plus years. So this is kind of cerebral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her character.
Oh yeah, she's total badass. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Zigga, I've got a couple more questions for you. I'd love to ask. So, you did kind of explain the story of how you reached out to us. Which, by the way, actually, before I ask the question, I'm gonna say my side, which was super cool because back at that time, we weren't getting. I'll just have been getting as many emails as I get now. I'll just leave it at that. So I was really every email was like, what's this? This could be fun. And I look, and it's this contact form submission, and this guy's like, hey, basically your game looks like total garbage, and I make video game art. So here I attach my portfolio for you to look. And I remember forwarding it to Bob, and we looked, and the thing that grabbed our attention was he had a whiskey bottle in there that he had modeled. And we're like, man, that's so much better than the whiskey bottle that we have right now. Maybe we should talk to this guy. So that's
Yeah,
and that.
that's the first thing that you guys made me do. You made me redo all the alcohol bottles in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
First project.
I mean, hey, like we figured we'd start with the most important thing, and then we just work our way down from there. So were you reaching out to any other indie games at the time, or were we special, or were we just like one of a big list of like you were just casting a wide net and seeing what happened?
You were so special. No, I wasn't reaching out to anyone else at the time. It was purely because my friend told me about the game. We were talking about it, and I just thought, these guys have a contact form. Let's go.
might as well try. So, Zigga, you have a really, really cool thing that you've been doing in our community for, I don't even know how long. I think it's been like at least a month, if not more. But you do live art development streams in Discord and broadcast it to our Steam store page pretty much every Friday night. Isn't that correct?
Pretty much every Friday night, yes, excluding last Friday night. But
Yeah,
for
what
about
happened?
2 months, I think we've been doing dev streams. We've been hanging out on Steam.
Yeah.
With the loyal fan base that we have on the Eek Discord. Someone should post a link in the chat. And yeah, we're having a good time. We're making new stuff. Last time we made a lizard that's stuck to the side of the house now. So look out for that when the next update comes in. That cheeseburger, yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights for me when we made a cheeseburger. Sure. Oh yeah, but it made so much more sense for the lore if I put it on the side of the house, though.
True. So it's that cheeseburger is supposed to be from Chubby's, I assume, right?
Yeah, but it's actually McDonald's. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, okay. Easter egg for people that are listening. They can. So I among the things that you made on this live stream, you have made both a scorpion and a lizard. So my question is there like a secret reptile agenda that you're trying to accomplish here, and can I be part of it?
Look, I'll give it to you straight. I am working my way up to a bird.
It's not going to happen.
That's basically what's happening here. I'm starting small. I started with the scorpion. Now we're at lizard. I'm not sure what kind of size animal comes between a lizard and a bird. We'll figure that out probably next Friday.
Yeah.
And then at some point, hey, if I can hide a T-Rex somewhere in House Party, I'll die a happy man.
What about Katabelle? What do you think? What should Zigga make that has to be a reptile in between like a small lizard and a bird?
Chameleon?
A chameleon?
Chameleon. I heard they're native to that area.
And Katabelle, do you know where House Party is, like in real life, what the area is based on?
No, I didn't.
That's actually a great question for Zigga, because I'm pretty sure he designed and came up with that concept.
Yeah, what is it? Or where is it?
Excuse me, what?
Where
does House Party take place? House Party takes place geographically somewhere on the East Coast, actually. Right above the what's the place? What's the East
like
Coast
New
place
England?
everyone knows?
No,
like south, like
east, south. Ooh.
Like
The Carolina?
Wait, I thought
New York, Pennsylvania.
I thought you modeled.
Oh no, West Coast. Oh my God, no!
I was thinking California.
I always mess up.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like Cali to me.
Yeah. It's
is.
right above California in the hills area.
Awesome. Yeah.
Is where it's based on. Yeah, I messed up east and west quite a lot. We had the same thing a few days ago where I was saying, no, yeah, it's on the east side, and he's like, well,
you don't know enough about America. Come on,
Yeah.
come on now.
if you go east far enough, you'll go all the way around, and it'll be west again. So it's fine either way.
That is true. Assuming that the Earth is a globe.
Well,
Oh,
Well,
Yeah, that's a subject
that's a
for
discussion for another
another
time.
live stream. so why? You've been awfully quiet. Are you like plotting? Are you plotting something, or what's going on?
I'm just listening to everyone. Chilling.
Why? So why for our listeners, for anyone that doesn't know, he is our character modeler. So any character that you see in House Party, he has either completely designed from scratch, or he took the DAS models and used that as a reference point and remade them from scratch once again. And he also now has made several real life people into video game characters. So the fun thing about Lie though is I've never had to work so hard to get someone to accept a job ever as Lie. But after so many years, I've learned that's just how he is with everything. He is like the king of definitely maybe. But so Lie, I do have to ask. So back when we were trying to convince you to come work for us, like, did you know you were going to do it and you were just stringing us along for fun, or like, did you really decide like at the last minute?
Not quite remember. I think I pretty much decided at the last minute. I think I was kind of doubting it at the beginning, but
Yeah.
after a month, I was pretty sure. And then I started.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we asked him to play Valheim, he just figured it out after like 9 months.
So we do this team gaming thing every once in a great while, and I think we were doing it for almost 2 years before I convinced Lie to join us. but now he comes every time because he realized how much fun it was, and he regrets all the times that he missed it. Right, Lie?
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
Yeah. So Lie, obviously you've done a lot of character modeling before you worked for us, and you've done a lot since you've been here. Is it any different? Oh yeah. Oh, you kitty bomb
So
the
cute.
stream. So cute. Okay, sorry. Back to Lie. Away from the cats. So was it harder? Was it different, or was it just more of the same when the first time you made a real person into a House Party character?
Or compared to the other NPCs, you mean? Or...
Yeah, compared to like all the other character work that you've done, like how is it different, if at all?
Well, for the others, the normal NPCs can use a bit more fantasy, more or less.
Sure.
And for Lety and Game Grumps, you have to actually use the reference and make them look like them. That's a bit different.
Does it feel like? Did you feel like more pressure? I mean, you don't strike me as someone that feels pressure very often, but did you feel any pressure with those guys?
No, not really.
God, you're so zen. I'm jealous. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So-
Lie's so chill.
He is the king of chill. He's the king of chill. So, have you ever?
I want
What's that,
to know
Tom?
I want to know what would have set Lie.
That's a good question, actually.
Doja Cat is a bit more stressing
And
because of
catch up
fraud.
Does that make you upset?
What?
How do you, Ziga? How do you say? Was it the frikandel?
Frikandel.
The frikandel. So if I put ketchup on that, would that upset you?
No, that's fine. They didn't pretty much have a single special. So
All right. Okay. I tried. It's okay. What if I said I didn't like the color orange?
that's painful as a Dutchman, yeah.
I tried. He's invincible.
He is. You should write maybe as like a side project. You should write like a self-help book, because like anxiety is like rampant in the modern day. Like everyone's struggling with it except for you. You're the only person I know that doesn't have it. So if you could share your secret, I think you could do really well. Obviously, like you'd be in addition to this, because we still have a lot of work for you to do. In fact, you've had to. Yeah. You could do like a self-help podcast on the eGames YouTube. So, why you've had to go into a lot of detail modeling characters in House Party, excruciating detail. Any highlights or anything you'd like to share from that process? Anything that made you cringe a little bit, or was it still all just just the even keel, all good.
I think it's broken those parts. I remember the first time I had to sculpt a penis. I was almost looking up reference on Google, and I was like, for other body parts like a hand, I always use my own hand, So in this case as well.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what you're saying is, if someone plays House Party and downloads the explicit content DLC and looks at the player that it is modeled after yours, is that what you're saying right now?
Yes.
That's amazing. I did not know.
I have been in a communal shower with Lai. And I can confirm that it is quite accurate.
Nice.
I could no amount of planning could have been content as this. This is amazing.
Does anyone
That's
else?
talent.
My favorite was when we just finished the Doja Cat model, and then she got a belly button piercing, and we were like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah, that just for one. Yeah.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
that person doing stuff. Hooray!
Hello.
Did Lety just join?
Working.
Hey.
Yep.
Oh, you can hear me. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
we
see.
can't see you though. We see the dog though.
Oh yeah. They're
That is
holding
Lety. What are you talking
the
about?
place for me. Hi.
Lety.
Hi everyone.
Yay.
Oh, cute, Lety.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Lady,
Welcome.
Mom. Hi. Hi Bobby.
Hi.
Hello.
So, welcome, Lety. Lety, in case anyone didn't know, I'm sure everyone does, but she is actually a person that was based on a real life House Party character. So, thank you so much for joining the stream. and you're dressed the character. Oh, Tiffany's coming in now too. Awesome. Hello, Tiffany.
Splash screen and everything.
Hi Tiffany.
Oh wow,
Tiffany.
that's the setup of a professional streamer right there. You can see the difference from what the Eat Games internal has been doing. Let's do it. Everyone else down? So, Katabelle, thank you so much for your patience and for jumping in a little bit early to join in the frivolity. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, obviously, you do a lot of VA work for lots of different clients, but we are your favorite, I assume.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So you've been voice acting Vicky for how long now?
I think about 4 years, I would say. I think.
Wow.
When did
Are
the
we-
game come out? 2016?
Yeah, she was a later edition, so that's
Yeah,
probably-
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So is Vicky Vixen your longest tenured recurring role out of all your voice acting work?
I'm trying to think,
There's only one right answer.
I would say yes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's
Yes.
long, but I think also Vainglory too. It's a mobile game
Okay.
too. Vainglory is a MOBA. Yeah, just been running as long, but yeah.
Great. Well, you definitely do wonderful work, and we really appreciate it. Everyone loves the Vicky character, and she's a lot of fun. So let's see. I've got a couple questions that I prepared for you here. This is a fun one, and I'm a little bit scared to ask this. But have you ever played House Party?
I have not played it myself.
No.
I know.
Oh no!
I've watched it though.
Oh.
But the thing is, I played Leisure Suit Larry when I was younger, and I heard it's like based off of that. And one of the voice actors for it doesn't? Oh yeah.
No, just kidding. No, go ahead. You were saying one of the voice actors.
Oh yeah, from Leisure Suit Larry. I was talking to her, and she helped me with the the voiceover and stuff for
Really?
Vicky a little
That's
bit.
cool.
I was talking to her about it. Yeah.
Did you know that, Mom?
No, I didn't know that, and I'm a big fan. I mean, obviously, House Party is inspired off of those old style games, and
Yeah.
particularly Leisure Suit Larry. So, actually, funny story. When I was starting to work on House Party, I actually emailed Al Lowe, the creator of Leisure Suit Larry, and I asked if he was interested in, basically with the direction I was going with House Party, doing like a sequel or a new Leisure Suit Larry game. But he actually was all about it, but he didn't have the rights. He had sold them.
No.
Yeah, they were with some. I think they were with Codemasters at the time, and people were just sitting on them. I think another Larry game actually did get made now. There's like a couple of new ones that just came out. So luckily they got those rights out of wherever they were locked up. But yeah, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because now I don't have to pay royalties to Leisure Larry's game.
Yeah.
So you've done. I'm trying to think like how much content you've done for us now. It's quite a lot. But I have to, especially since you haven't played the game, which I will not hold against you. I won't do it. But Alex, could we send her a key? Do you own the game?
Yeah,
Do you own the game? Or we'll send you a key. Yeah, we'll email you a key after this.
You have no idea what we've done with your voice, do you?
What was that?
You have no idea what we've done with your voice, do you?
Oh no, I have. I've watched streams. I've seen on YouTube Let's Plays. I've watched a lot of Let's Plays.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So we'll send you a key, and then we'll check every day in the back end of Steam to see when you activated it. Okay, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. We won't do that.
Hour, every minute, every day.
Yeah. So you've done so many lines for one of the, I guess I'll say like the edgiest characters in the game. I think it's fair to say.
Sure. Yeah.
So were there any lines that stand out in your memory that we gave to you that you were just like, what the hell is the context for this line? Like, what are they making? What are they doing?
The Never Have I Ever game.
Yeah.
And her Vicky Valentine DLC. I was looking over the script. I thought it was fun. I understood after a while. I was like, oh, okay. But I loved that. It was like not strip poker, is strip. Never Have I Ever, I guess.
Yeah.
Vicky. So yeah, that was fun. I like that one.
And if I recall from those lines, like you kind of had to like say the lines in the middle of laughing and stuff. Like it wasn't just like a straight up delivery.
No, that was all her. Who she added kind of like the little
did
to the end of Vicky's voice, and it was great. And she just sprinkled them all throughout the voice lines, and we kept I think we kept every single one of them because they're great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did multiple takes per line, and I guess you kept the ones with the. Thank you for keeping the ones with the laugh. I wasn't sure. I just kind of went with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Vicky Vixen Valentine. That was the first. I think that was the first kind of like side story that we did, right? Or was the date night?
I think so.
Or was it Date Night with Brittany? I'm trying to remember which one came first. I know we had. I think Vicky Vixen was first because we did that for like a Valentine's Day thing, obviously. Don, do you remember? Was it Date Night with Brittany or Vicky Vixen Valentine that we did first?
I believe Vicky Vixen Valentine was first. It was the first time we because we justified it with, hey, here's a side story. Happy Valentine. Thanks for supporting us. And then Brittany was second, I believe. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your wonderful work on this character that everyone loves, and I know. Well, I know we're making a sequel game called Office Party, which you may or may not have heard about.
Office Party, yeah.
And I actually don't know, and I don't know how I don't know because I've been around here a long time, but I don't know if Vicky is going to be in it. I know there will be some recurring characters, but Bob, can you share if Vicky will be in Office Party, or do you even know yet?
She'll definitely be in Office Party.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. Confirmed, everyone. Confirmed.
That's called job security. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
So I would love to, if anyone else on the E team has anything they want to jump in with for Katabelle or any questions from anyone that's watching the AMA right now that we want to sneak in real quick before I move on to Lety and ask her some stuff?
I
We have
do
lots
have
of
a question.
questions.
Thank you very much.
All right. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so you've been doing this for 4 years for us, give or
Mhm.
take.
Yeah.
Is there one line you can still remember or that stood out of all the things
Oh
you did?
gosh.
You do a lot of voice work, so I get it if you don't, but you
Oof,
have
I'm
so
trying to.
much weird lines that
Yes.
maybe one stuck.
Oh, back to the Valentine DLC. She, I don't remember the line, but she was like trying to BS her way upstairs. And she was like, "Oh, there's a cat," and just trying like, "Come here, kitty, kitty, kitty." That's
No.
all I remember. And then like, yeah, open sesame.
Oh
Yeah.
She's like high or drunk or whatever she seems like, or she wants to be high, I guess. But yeah, she was opening the door and is like,
That's when she was flashing the flare with her panties at the slider door. Yeah.
yes, yeah. I'm trying to remember that scene. I remember the scenes, but I don't remember all the lines. I know she says cadet a lot and recruit and things like that. But
We had some very interesting background chatter lines where there was some commentary about the porn industry. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it wasn't more memorable because some of those were very interesting.
yeah, I do remember some of her stories.
Alex, do we have any? Is this a good time to sneak in any questions from our listeners, or we get to that in a little bit?
We have a lot of questions.
Let's throw in a couple.
One thing though, somebody said, yes, we want Vicky an office party.
Yeah.
All right. The fans have spoken.
Dawn, so cute. There's
Something I was curious about, Dylan Lawrence, something I was curious about was the talks of the VR implementation. Is that still considered for a house party? Does the next project have design principles with VR in mind?
That's a good question.
Yeah, VR. I mean, obviously, we're coming out early access this summer, so once the game's finished, VR will be the next step. We need a finished product before we're going to start porting to VR. We don't want to have two early access projects going on. So yeah, but that we'll definitely be starting to shift our focus to that after we exit out of early access.
Another good one here. Any plans for a Vicky Doja hookup?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I love Doja.
There will definitely be some Vicky Doja interaction.
That's Karl Marx.
I don't want to give away too much of the Doja Cat story yet.
No spoilers.
Awesome. All right. So for this next segment, I would love to once again welcome Lety. Lety, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. And I see since we did our tech test the other day, you somehow successfully mounted all the props onto your wall.
Yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah. I wanted to comment on that. The fish. I'm very impressed with the fish.
Yeah,
I don't think
lots of command strips.
I love the house party poster.
Yeah. Letty, you've never played House Party, right? Ever?
Oh my god, never. Never ever.
You should do a let's play.
What is that?
I just realized I was muted the whole
Why am I here?
time.
Oh no, Tiffany.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so
Hi,
sorry.
Tiffany.
I'm dumb as fuck. Go ahead.
It happens to the best of us. It happens.
So hey.
So Lety, to Bob's point, I think that you might be House Party's longest active fan. So that's not really a question. I'm just letting you know.
Bobby, right?
What?
Wouldn't you say that you're House Party's biggest fan, Bobby?
No, I think you are.
Yeah.
I remember you were streaming it, and you were streaming like a super old version, and it was still and I mean the game was still kind of young at the time, so I thought she just didn't know we updated it, so so I sent her a message and I was like, hey, I saw you streaming House Party. I was like, if you want, here's a key to play the new version. And she's like, oh, I totally know that I'm playing an old version. She's like, I love the old version. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then she was like, wait a minute, you're the guy, right? I'm like, the guy? And I'm like, she's like, yeah, the guy who made House Party. I'm like, oh yeah, that I did do that.
That guy.
And then then we started chit chatting, and then we ran the contest. She ended up winning the contest, which was awesome because then we got to work together even more after that.
I actually did refer to him as the guy,
Yeah.
which is why I'm laughing so hard.
That's
That was
amazing.
pretty much verbatim, I think.
Yeah.
So how did you discover the guy's project, House Party?
Well, to that point, I still think Bobby is the biggest fan because, like, if it wasn't for your like devotion and hard work, then this game still, wouldn't be going. Because I remember finding this game on 4chan or like some, image board, and someone was like, "Hey, I'm working on this game, this fun, sexy party simulator thing. If anyone wants to, check it out, and let me know." As Bobby mentioned previously, random people were just downloading it, or I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something like, I posted it and then random people just started downloading it. Well, yeah, they did. And I was one of the random people that downloaded it. So I just see like so many games, so many like random projects that people post online, and a lot of them, they fail. And I can't believe that this like game is actually still like going on right now. It's pretty crazy.
Wait, what do you mean you can't believe it? Are you surprised that we're still going on? That was kind of a dig, no?
From one person posting their game randomly on an image board to what it currently is, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Are
It
you
is.
trying to undercut how impressive it is?
Oh, nice turnaround. Well done.
The only reason I started the game is because I wanted to be Doja Cat. So here we are.
Yeah, it didn't even really take that long, like 5 years to meet Doja Cat, from inception. I mean, that's a good time investment. So you started playing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Don.
I think the more realistic explanation is that Bob is always thinking about the people, and he collectively wanted to ask the world, "How's it going, Toad?"
Yeah.
And they answered. Oh, actually, that is a wonderful segue.
That was perfect
That-
timing.
That timing.
Yeah, amazing timing. 'Cause joining us right now, right after Don said, "How's it going, dude?" is the voice of Frank himself, Bentley Michaels.
That's how you summon him. That's how you summon him.
Yes, it's his nature call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You said my name. Ed, shut up, babe. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Here.
So that I think I've only heard your real voice, Bentley, a couple times. Like you've done some like podcasts and stuff, but I still I always expect the Frank anytime, but it's so different than your normal voice. Like you really have to act, like you're not
because
Yeah.
I don't think it's all that different. I'm like, man, I'm getting away with murder, barely doing anything. Although it is weird to see all of you. I've seen some of you guys on Instagram or whatever, but like Bobby and Jonathan and Alex, all of you, and hello, Don.
That was special.
Wow.
That's
Hello,
Don
Don.
usually gets that. That's just his normal greeting.
Yeah.
Like hello.
No, it is weird. And oh yeah, there's Lety up there in the corner. I just realized. Hello.
Yeah,
So
and Tiffany's here
wonderful
too.
to see you in virtual person. Yeah, the Frank voice. Yeah, it's really. I remember you guys. Gosh, it was like 2016 or something. Sorry, I just mowed my lawn, which was stupid because all that stuff gets in my nose, and then it's like one of the only things I'm allergic to is like lawn dust, lawn
Oof.
clipping stuff.
Oof, allergies.
But
The
had to do it because Oregon doesn't want to pick a fucking season to stay in. So for the last 2 weeks, it's been like 40 and pouring rain, And then the last 2 days, it's been like almost 80 and just bright as crap. And so then
Wait, where are you? What state?
Oregon.
Oregon. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, well, better mow the lawn while the getting's good. And before it decides to start pouring rain again, like it's still February or something. And then I was out there going like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. They're gonna love this. I'm gonna go, hey guys, what's going on? Frank here, anyway. But yeah, 2016, when I forget how, I think I don't remember how I got in touch with you guys, but I remember you guys saying they're like, you want it like an East Coast tough guy type of voice.
Yeah.
Where it was like the directives given to me. They're like, he's kind of like an East Coast tough guy. He's kind of, he's there to kick everybody's ass at the party and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And
yeah,
so
we've gone back and forth a few times, and doing slight modifications, and then finally I was like, that's it, you nailed it.
Okay, yeah, it's when, I started doing that sort of like mafia dead tongue thing.
Yeah,
like that sort of thing. At first, like, hey, how's this fucking guy? And then, but then I started noticing in the script it was there was the term dude a lot, and so now I've never watched Breaking Bad, but I know Jesse Pinkman says dude a lot, and it sort of has that kind of like rough voice or whatever. So I kind of combined the East Coast tough guy thing with the Jesse Pinkman thing, and then it was like, how's it going, dude? Staying away from the alcohol,
I love
It's
that.
amazing.
You better be fucking staying away from it,
Jesse
or I'll unleash a snake
I
on
would
your ass.
never known that was Jesse Pinkman in that. That's so well done.
I
Yeah,
love
that's like-
that. Adding
that
that
was-
inspiration.
It's my I don't, again, like I've only seen him like when he popped up, like he's popped up like on like when they did that thing with The Office for like the TV award where he like delivers what's his the old guy like from drugs or whatever. So I've only, and then like I've heard there's this wonderful voice impressionist named Ross Marquand who does like a really good Jesse Pinkman. So I basically just took his impression and mixed it with like every East Coast dope that I could think of. Because like it's not like a true New York or a true Jersey thing. It kind of like depends on the line where he slips into and like what I kind of decide to do or whatever, with the line or with, if it's sometimes it's more Jersey, sometimes it's more New York. But I think Frank would be the type of guy that's probably not even his real voice. He just thinks that's like a tough guy voice, so he just puts it on. When like Frank goes home at the end of the night, he's like, well, Franklin, you did it once again. You saved children from alcohol. So wonderful that you policed another party. Your poor snake there. Dear God, Franklin, what are you going to do? The nightmares.
Oh, you're giving them ideas now. Let's go.
Yeah,
Real voice.
we need to get this. We need to get that voice in the story. We need to do that. We need to make that happen.
You'll just have to send me a video of this so I remember what I did.
Hey, don't we owe you a Niles or Fraser joke on Twitter? I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, see, like I don't know if the rest of you folks, when you send in your things, talk to the void / to them like while you're recording.
Boy,
I always, like, in between lines, I start doing jokes and start doing other voices and start like making myself laugh, because I was like, they'll probably get a kick out of this. And then it's like, and then I go through and kind of leave them in like at the end of takes or whatever, or if I screw up, I usually leave it in because it's usually funny. Because I don't do you all, I'm super dyslexic, so like I don't actually ever read ahead. I just do it in the moment. So I usually send like 2 or 3 takes. Do you all like practice your lines and stuff before, or do you just go?
I'm dyslexic too, so I know
Oh,
you're
nice.
fucking paying so much. Can we swear?
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, just have to make
This
sure.
is Z
I always-
Games. Come
All
on.
right, I just have to make sure. Just in case I see a child there, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, okay.
It's Don's child. Anything. Yeah. No, it's all good.
It's Don's child. No. Yeah, I read my lines a couple times and I still somehow fucking mess them up. Sometimes I feel so bad, and they're like, "Can you redo this one?" I'm like, just like, fuck. My dyslexia kicked in real bad. But
Yeah,
I understand how you
I,
feel with that.
For sure. There's times I'll get emails from other clients and they'll be like, this is not the sentence. I'm like, bullshit, it's not the sentence. And I go back and I read it and like, or I listen to like my audio and I go, holy fuck, I did say that wrong. because like my
Mhm.
brain doesn't even recognize it until someone else tells me. Like I'll sit there and like I always QC stuff unless it's like super long or whatever. But my brain won't. 9 times out of 10, my brain won't recognize it until someone else tells me. Yeah, it is really weird. And or like it'll switch sentences around. Like you'll take like through and make it though, and like somehow my brain immediately like on the fly makes the sentence work with a different word or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I usually with Frank, I just start talking at this point, and then sometimes I even I'll do one as written, but sometimes like I always do 2 or 3 versions usually, unless the line's like super short, but which is so funny because you think I do more on the shorter ones, but like the longer ones are like I'll read it through once, and then I kind of start changing stuff automatically to be. I think he would maybe say it a little bit more like this or a little bit more like that. Do you all do that stuff as well? Like with your like give the old mucky mucks in their fucking mansions the line is written, and then like do one where you think this is how I feel the voice works a little bit better with that line.
Yes, when you said that you've like changed a word or whatever to make it work, I've done that too. I don't know if I submitted those lines or not, but yeah,
I always do. I just figure they'll they're paying some intern with sandwiches to go through and listen to my voice. So like,
Oh no, I'm listening to your voice.
oh, it's Don?
Done.
This is for Don. Oh, Don listens. I'm so.
Wait, Don, you get paid more than just sandwiches?
I get sent the sandwich in the mail, and I try to section it out for a month.
You guys
And
get paid?
Yeah. I'll get sandwiches. Like what?
food.
Oh,
Don gets paid in coupons from the Sunday afternoon paper.
yeah.
And I hoard those.
Yeah.
For a
Oh,
rainy
Jiffy
day.
Lube's got another oil sale. I'm so excited.
Gotta save that money. Gotta save that dough.
Yeah, I do a lot of, I mean, maybe it works more for Frank. Oh, hey, Zegger husband is here. And I do a lot of improv on lines, like where it's like if I do it once or twice, I'll also then go like, I think the gist of the line is this, and then like I'll do a bunch of silly stuff with, like where I think it gets across the same point, but to me it feels like more Frankie, or I just start like adding in stuff here or there, and then I get back to what they wrote, and then I add some fluff, and then I get back, like, so I'm constantly, there's always at least one take like that where it's like a little way sillier. Do you guys
As
have
far
that
as
as
those
well?
takes go, I feel like for the Frank Balls content, we use 75% improv. I think
Oh,
the first
yeah?
2 were completely ignored, and I was waiting for that take every time. Like that one. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
He does have some. There's some like I went on some people that were fans of the game, and they were like, hey, we're starting a Twitch/YouTube channel, and we're gonna do house party. Would you come on? And I know Tiffany went on as well. They're called the Snack Break Club.
Oh, they're
And-
so sweet.
Yeah, and you can actually hear in my one of my episodes being like, oh yeah, I'll message Tiffany right now, and I get her on the show in real time. But I'd never played the game before, and I had only kind of I'd seen some of the Game Grumps stuff. I'd watched that, but that they did like my entire storyline up until that point, which was like 6 months ago. So I think all of the stuff that I'd recently recorded was out at that point, and I watched them play, and it was really interesting. You can hear me like on those episodes go like, okay, that was when I was in my basement studio at my house before my divorce. There's a line from my weird closet in my sad dad pad apartment when I first had to move out. And then since 2018, it's been this space with my Christmas Story bunny suit. And
Oh, cute.
yeah, all of my clothes, all my sweatshirts are behind this. So it's like one half of the closet is like all Oral X sound foam, the other half is just hoodies. And so it's the best sounding place I've ever recorded. But it was weird to like play it and be like, and even hear the voice change, like not as dramatically as like first season Homer from we're going to get chocolate frosty milkshakes, to like what it is now, or even like the Family Guy voices, but I can tell that there's like a lot more of an ease of me doing the voice now. Do the other voice people here, do you find it, and do you reference, like, I always go back and listen to like one of the first Game Grumps so I can hear my original voice and be like, okay.
Oh my God,
Do
yeah.
you guys reference that as well?
Damn. Well, when I got my first lines, it was like April Fools when I was announced that I got that they messaged me, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna need you to get the lines like in like 3 days." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like 3 days. I'm like, "Okay, cool, yeah, I can totally do that." So when they were doing the Leah content, you can hear me like mic at some points because I was like really trying to get the lines out and stuff, and Dan kept calling him out. I was like, "You motherfucker, I will do better next time. Thank you for your constructive criticism." But yeah, I do hear a difference between like when I watch Let's Players do it, like, because now I have a better setup, and I have like a really nicer setup. But yeah, Dan and Aaron, thank you and fuck you at the same time for that constructive criticism. But yeah, it's definitely a difference with the lines.
I always find it hilarious when I see it's mainly the Game Grumps guys like do. It brings me great joy to hear them like do their version of Frank, or like how
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
or like how they what they talk like like
Oh,
what
cute.
they connect with.
A beautiful man.
There's an episode of Game Grumps where they come back to House Party after a while. I think it was after we put them in it, and they went to Frank, and they had been mimicking the voice for so long that it kind of changed over time.
Yeah.
And when they went back and heard you say it again, they were like, "Wait a minute, that's not the same, is it?" That's like, because they got so used to hearing themselves say it that they didn't recognize the way that it was originally said.
It really makes me giggle when I hear them, like, because they sound so, for lack of a better term, they sound so dead inside when they do it. They're just kind of like, "How's it going, dude? Oh, dude, how's it going, dude?" Like it's like way dumber than I ever intended to be, but I think it's hilarious. Like that is so fucking funny to me that they do that. And even like, I remember the first time it was around 2018, like when I first moved into my home now, and I remember waking up getting an email from, I forget, from one of the bosses, Bobby or John possibly, and they're like they're like, "Hey, the Game Grumps reviewed our game. I don't know if you know who the Game Grumps are." And I was like, "I know the Game Grumps because this kid that I worked with in a children's theater during the summer out here, he was always watching their stuff backstage. I'm Grump, not so Grump, like just constantly backstage. I would hear that, and then like, oh my God. And so then I message him. His name's Ashton. And I go, "Hey man, you ever heard of this game called House Party?" He goes, "Oh, that game's fucked up." And I was like, the Game Grumps did the Game Grumps just, he goes, "Yeah, I know, I saw it." I was like, "I'm in that game." He goes, "Holy fuck, please tell me you're Frank." I was like, "I am Frank." And he goes, "How did I not ever put that together before?" Like, and I sent him like a voice text where I was like, "How's it going, dude?" And he goes, "Oh my God, you are Frank. Oh, it's the only thing I can hear now." I've had several people like, dude, one of my I wore my shirt because I teach tap dance as well. And so like I teach a bunch of like junior high and high school girls. And one of the girls, I was wearing my Frank How's It Going dude shirt, and she goes, she's 17. And so like, and so she was, "Yep, there it is. Oh, you delicious bastard." And but she goes, you could see she was being weird around me. And so finally I go, "Hey, are you okay? Like, you having a bad day or something? Are you cool?" She goes, "I gotta ask you a question." I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, Is that shirt from that game House Party?"
My landlord was asking me a question.
And I was like,
Perfect timing.
I was like, yeah, it is. Do you know House Party? And she like, her face gets all red, and she was, "Yeah, I like." She was like, "I'm a big video game person." I was like, "Oh, that's crazy."
No.
And I was like, "So you've played House Party?" She goes, "Yeah, I've played House Party." And I just looked at her and I went, how's it going, dude? She goes, oh my God, you're Frank. I was like, yeah. And I was like, and I know
That's
your
awesome.
17-year-old ass is playing some freaky fucking games.
Oh, no.
And she's like, you can't tell my mom. I was like, I won't tell your mom. What am I going to tell her? That her teenager is playing a horrifically crazy game with my voice in it? She goes, that is so weird that you're Frank. I'm not going to look at you the same anymore. I was like, as long as you know the steps, I don't care how you look at me. Like, just know your dance steps. But yeah, and even in the play that I was just in, I was in Matilda the musical, and video coming soon for all of my bosses that I talked to about it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
they've got 5 HD cameras, and they're guys editing together, so it's kind of like be from different angles and stuff like that. And they're editing the night together that this mom and their 2 kids were like out in the lobby because one of them had to go to the bathroom. And there's a part where I come like down the aisles and like blowing my whistle and scaring people. And I was like, hey, are you guys going to come back in? And they're like, oh, it's the Trunch Bowl. Watch out. I was like, hey, are you guys coming back in? They're like, well, we got to wait till intermission. I was like, that's like 45 minutes away. I was like, here, come with me. And I was like, I'm about to go in this whole thing. I'll seat you guys. And so I start blowing my whistle. I'm like, hurry up, short legs. Let's go. Let's go. And like brought them down. I'm like, are these your seats? Hurry up and sit down. Oh, just take your sweet, sweet time. And like, I'm like, are you comfortable? Wonderful. And then like, yeah, she has like an Alan Rickman meets. I took Alan Rickman's speech pattern, which is that, hello, so wonderful to talk to you. And then I put a McGonagall sort of like higher behind the nose thing. So her voice was very much right in here. Oh, Matilda, so wonderful to see you. Yes. Oh dear. And so like I sat him and like the audience is laughing. I'm like, will you hurry up and sit down? We've got a show to do. And then like, and I was like, good, wonderful. And then like I blew so I think that's actually the night that they're going to be editing together for you guys. So anybody who's interested in watching me run around in a kilt and torture children, you just let me know. I'll send you a link. But yeah, the Game Grumps thing. Yeah. This is what I was going to say. This is also ADHD, where I get distracted. In the comments, I remember the first time on those Game Grumps videos, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. And I watched the whole thing. I was like, wow, that's so cool. They did our game, and they're like making fun of me and like my voice and all this sort of shit, like, wow, that's neat. And I like go into the comments and I see this person wrote, and you can still find it. And like, I'm sure this person writes, it would be my dream to meet the voice actor who does Frank. And I was like, well, I'm signed into YouTube. So like I comment back. I'm like, hey, thanks for checking out this video. I'm Bentley. I play Frank, and it's really cool that you like the game and blah, blah, something nice, innocuous like that. And I get this fucking response back from him. It's like, oh, Bentley Michaels, how I wish you were Frank. I just don't believe you.
You told me about this. Yeah.
Like, oh, you fucking idiots. Little do you know.
I was trying to get in contact with you too, because I'm actually, Aaron follows me because we did a charity thing back in like 2020, like Christmas 2020, and he was like saying yeah about game. I was like, yeah, you should like play with Frank, and he was like, yeah, I want to win this tournament. I'm like, okay, go ahead, Aaron, you do your thing. So like he never got in contact with you still.
There are so many people that whenever one of those videos comes out and they start talking, like I get people have kind of obviously on Twitter. I mean, not like I have 1 million followers, but I gained over 300 followers in the course of like a month once people figured out what my Twitter handle was. I went from my solid like 300 I've been sitting at for like a decade to like over 600, and I was like, now I've made it.
Yeah, same house party.
Can I cut in here for a second?
And then what's that?
In one of their latest videos, they actually called out for you to come and contact them.
They did.
They did. Ingrams, yeah.
That's what I was going to say, is that like when they did that, I got messages on Twitter and Instagram and tons of like comments and stuff like that. They're like, you should get in contact with them. I was like, if it was that simple, like I would. But like, I mean, I've commented on some of their stuff, or like, and I know that you guys have been in touch with them and said that that they you've given them my information and stuff.
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah.
I don't know. I know that it would be required for me to go to California, but I totally do that.
Oh, they've done stuff when you don't have to go to you. They've done remote. They've done remote before with people.
Oh, really?
They won't
Mhm.
remote because
They
we
don't like
actually,
remote.
yeah, we tried to set
Ah.
them up remotely with Doja Cat, and they actually turned it down because they didn't want to do that. They just say it ruins the production because they can't really. They're comedians, and they say it kills like the timing for the jokes and stuff.
Oh.
So they didn't want to do it that way.
Yeah, that lag is definitely, and like not knowing who's going to talk. We had to do that like on our D&D podcast. Obviously, like once the COVID thing happened, like we went to obviously Zoom, and so but there's 6 of us, so we really had to learn. And there's 3 of us that really like to talk, and so we had to learn like that. We had hand signals where we'd have like somebody would like be like this, and then when the other person would be done, it kind of like we just kind of figured out who was next. And it took probably took us like 2 months of recording to figure it out. There's definitely like, and then everyone's recording on their end, so then it's like I put it all together. I put it all together at the end, so it just kind of like really like high quality microphone, people just talking over each other, which also isn't out of that when we used to play in my living room beforehand. But it's definitely a learning curve for comedy, especially if you don't know if someone can be funny. Like, because like when I was doing like the Christmas Story Minute podcasts, half of those guests were other Minute by Movie podcasters that were like online folks from who wherever they are in the country, and some of them they're just like, I said yes to every single person because I didn't want to do the whole movie by myself, but like, man, some of them were such fucking wet blankets. Like, I'm sitting here like, they'd be like, well, here are my facts. I'm like, no riffing, no, not. I'm like, God, I guess I'm gonna be talking this whole time. I'm just gonna be fucking running my mouth the whole time. Like, yep, that is very. Or some of them were like fans. A couple of them were fans of House Party, and they just also have to listen to my podcast. They started listening to him because of that, and so I brought one guy on, and he was kind of like intimidated the whole time. He just kind of sat there, was like, I was like, hey man, like in between, I was like, you can say stuff. Like, it's all good. Like, just like when we talk back and forth or what, like text or whatever, like, you're a funny guy. Just, relax. It's fine. But he still was kind of like, like when Wayne leaves Garth.
So before this stream, I didn't realize that you and Tiffany were already like kind of in touch with each other, and it sounds like you've worked on some stuff together, been on some of the same shows. That's like, it's such great. I hate to use this word, but it's great synergy because obviously your guys' characters are super close to each other in House Party as well.
Yeah.
So like I assume you two got in touch with each other after the roles were set, or did you happen to know each other before that?
Oh, not right away. Like, so when I got into House Party because my husband plays a lot of porn games. So he told me about this game. They do. It's so like he told me about the game and everything, and I was just like, oh, this seems neat. Choose your own adventure porn game. Cool. And then we sat down and watched the Game Grumps. And the ironic thing about it, I literally sat there and stared at it for a second. I was like, man, there's no black women in this game. It would be kind of cool to voice a black woman in this game. And he goes, yeah, I think you'd be perfect for this game. Lo and behold, like the audition was on Casting Call Club, and my friend was like, yo, they're doing the auditions for House Party. Get in on that shit, Tiffany. You've been talking about this game forever. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did the audition. And it was like, I was like, okay, that's done. Probably not gonna get the role. Let's go next audition. And then April Fool's rolled around. And this is leading up to Frank, trust me. April Fool's rolls around, and I'm sitting there streaming, and I'm just like, okay, cool. And my phone goes off. It's like, and it's when I get audition back, it gives a certain tone. So I'm like, oh, I landed a role. Grab my phone, look at it for a second. Quickly tab out my stream, look at the stream for a second, look at this email for a second, and I'm like, it's April Fool's. This isn't real. And then the message went, I know it's April Fool's, and I was like, oh,
that'd be so mean if we were actually like, just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah, and when I found out who Leo was, because I started reading the lines, I was like, apprentice to Sensei Frank. Oh shit. Let's go. So I was like, oh, I love this character. I love her. She's a badass, like, you know, kung fu weeaboo. Like, I love that. So and like it wasn't until like I think a year later me and Frank started talking. I think I followed him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I was like trying to, because I was that person. I was like, oh, who are the voice actors? Okay, do they have a Twitter? Do they have a Twitter? Do they have a Twitter? Do they have Twitter? Because I like to follow like the cast I'm with and like,
Sure.
follow their success. And I followed Frank for a while, and then he messaged me. He was like, hey, Tiffany. I think that was the first time we talked. I'm not 100% sure. I have a memory of a goldfish, but like, you wanted me to be on that show, and I said, yeah, sure, of course. And then we just talk randomly now and then. We talked recently about the Game Awards thing I did, and like, yeah, it was just like, and he's in the game now. He's talked about a role he just recently did in the game. And I heard it, and he was like, who? I was like, oh, I'm brain dead half the time, Frank. I'm so sorry because I'm halfly medicated. So like every time you say, hey, when you were like, who? He was like, listen to this. I was like, oh, cool. You're like, that's my voice. I was like, shit, yeah, oh yeah, it's my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, like I'll send you something that I do sometimes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
Well,
like brain
here's
dead half the time.
The reverse side of that is that while I understood that Tiffany was in the game and that like she was a part of it or whatever, this sounds so stupid. I didn't put it together like until I was playing with those Twitch stream guys, or like I was doing their show with them, and we get to the Leah stuff, and then I go, I think I even say it on their show.
Yeah.
They said something about Tiffany. I go, oh, that's who she plays in the game?
That's amazing.
Like, I talked to her, and like, I mean, I guess I should have put it together, but and I might even probably even like on her, but I'm bad with names and bad with stuff. So like,
I am too.
Like, oh, Lee, oh, wow. Oh, wow. And so then I started paying attention to what she did, and I was like, wow, she's really great.
You know what's so amazing? What's so amazing about Leah's story? I guess it's kind of like Leah and Frank's story.
Why did you pick her over the other folks that and then bring it back to me? Why'd you pick me?
I think those are both questions for Bob. So
all right.
Oh, Bob picked us? Oh, I want to know this one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of auditions in, but I mean, granted, you saw what the role was, you saw the lines. Put it from our perspective, we kind of knew what the character was going to be before we cast it. So, and you just kind of nailed it on the audition. I mean, honestly, nobody else came close. I think we were all in uniform agreement that you got it hands down.
Wait, Bobby, I do remember a story. I don't know who told me that you guys saw me on Reddit before you even did the casting, and you forgot my name. Yeah, you forgot my name.
Yep. I said, hey, I saw this girl, and it's funny because I perused the game dev forum, and I saw your post there, but at the time we weren't looking for somebody, but I listened to those things, and yeah, and then when we were putting out the casting audition, I was like, wait a minute, there was this girl I heard, and she would have been perfect, but I can't remember her name, and then luckily you had actually contacted us to audition for the role, and then I was like, that's her. Yeah,
that's
I was
awesome.
like, what? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and then with Bentley, with Frank, I had no idea. That was God. You were one of the first people I cast as a VA. Actually, I think I cast you.
Oh,
before
really?
I casted Madison. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was just looking. I had these. This is back when probably only a few characters in the game had speaking roles, like Ashley, Madison, and Frank, and that was maybe Catherine, Stephanie, maybe. But so I was casting for like that initial bunch. And I had contacted a couple other guys, for Frank, and when I heard, like, when you first read it, it wasn't like quite in Frank voice because we went back and forth a little bit, but there was just something about your delivery that I was like, this guy, like, he's onto something here. And then I kept going back and forth with you, and then finally we figured it out, and And then I think at one point I wrote back, I was like, that's it, you nailed it. I was like, and I'm like, man, I hope this guy remembers, like, you know, next time, because it's sometimes, you know, you did like one Frank reading, and then, you know, a month, you know, 3 months goes by, and I'm like, hey, I need you to do another Frank reading, you know, or, yeah, so. But yeah, every time you just kind of evolve the voice too, like you said, and now you've just, like, you know the character now, so you're almost in his head when you're delivering lines, you know.
That's nice of you to say. I will tell you that it's the exact opposite. I'm worried every time I send you guys stuff, or I'm worried whenever I start new stuff, because I'm like I said, I go back and I listen to, like, I find stuff on YouTube or what, and like listen to Frank. Me, but like I listen to him because I go like, am I doing the voice right? Because I'll start reading. I always like start reading and like I'll do a couple lines. I'm like, this doesn't even sound right to me in my head. I got to go back and watch something on YouTube. And then I'm like, no, I guess I'm doing it. I always feel like that. I guess I'm doing it. I can't tell anymore.
Well, it's interesting because when you're casting, you know, voice actors, you kind of, I'm the one who wrote, like, it created all the personalities for these characters, and along with a lot of their catchphrases and how's it going, dude, and all that stuff. So, like, when you're thinking about that and you're like, you know, trying to get somebody to kind of say it the way that you hear it in your head, it's difficult. We've gotten, I mean, you know, we put out auditions, and like, you know, like sometimes we've gotten a whole batch in, and like none of them are even coming close. And I'm like, oh, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like Brittany, for instance, her VA, I could not find anybody to do that voice that way anywhere else. Like, I mean, like so many people tried and failed to do Brittany until that one girl, God, I can't think of her name right now either.
Is she the one that says, what the fuck? What the fuck?
No, that's Catherine.
That's
okay.
Catherine.
Brittany is, I got her name.
That
can
girl
look that
makes me
up.
laugh.
She's
Yeah,
a Southern
that's
Belle
Adriana.
like
It's
voice.
Amanda.
Yes, Amanda.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was playing with them on their Twitch stream, I kept telling them, like, go back to that girl, because I just wanted to hear her say, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, Catherine. She just nailed it too right off the bat. And then Lety actually was not a voice actor, but we forced her to be one. So
Right.
But Lety did so good.
Was it like a
Yeah,
Twitter
Lety did
contest or
great.
something?
well, Lety
thanks,
won a
guys.
contest. Lety won a
Super sweet.
contest. We put a contest out. We said that the winners we're going to put in the game. That's how the Game Grumps and Lety ended up getting in the game.
Oh,
And you know, Lety won on the female side. So basically, we were like, okay, well, now you're gonna have to do your voice acting lines. And she was like, I've never voice acted before. And I was like, let's figure it out. Let's do it.
well, we're throwing you
Okay.
up deep in there, kid.
For never voice acting before. Okay, number one, like your audio quality was really good because
Yeah.
you're a content creator anyways, so like you've got a solid setup, obviously. But you had to like you had to act you had to do some really interesting voice lines, very complicated with very specific requirements.
Yeah,
for never having voice.
She was also very involved with her story too. I mean, she gave a lot of input, and she kind of we kind of crafted her story along.
I'm disappointed that you couldn't murder anybody in the way you wanted to murder them. But
Oh, yes,
Frank
yes.
tried.
Her first request was that we bring murder back into the game, and we were like, "Whoa, wow!" You know,
Did you kill people beforehand, like when it first started?
yeah. It was
But-
dark.
Wow.
Lety, tell us.
I honestly have a dark sense of humor, but which kind of I guess I like my humor goes both ways. I guess but I love dark comedies and stuff. And my original house party was just I arguably too dark. It was Lety would disagree, but I kind of started taking those elements out because people were just responding to them the wrong way.
Oh,
Well,
I remember. Go ahead,
yeah, it was amazing. It was the edgiest fucking game in the universe, and I loved it so much. And you know, especially Rachel's entire character, because you didn't explain it. Like, for those of you that haven't played the older game, if I'm the only one here, anyway, she's locked in a garage the entire game at Madison's house, and Rachel is, for some reason, like. She's just locked in Madison's garage. And the garage door, the key to the garage door is in a locked box, in a separate locked room. So you have to unlock the room, to unlock the box, to get the key, to open the door. And it's just like you go through this entire quest to free this trapped girl in a garage. And it's literally like,
Well, that was the thing.
not
you didn't
explain how she's there.
Well, that was the thing. You didn't know what was gonna. You didn't know what was gonna be in the garage when you opened it in the game, and then, and that's my humor. That's my humor. I was like, would it be funny if like a person would just trap in there and they're suddenly grateful to have finally be let out of the garage?
Oh man.
Yeah. You
I
know?
remember.
And then
Oh, go ahead,
sorry,
please.
Bentley. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I remember, and you guys might be able to. The female actresses, voice actresses here. I heard this on Tiffany's stream with those guys because I said something where the two dudes asked me. They go, because I didn't know that the Romance Frank storyline was in the game until I watched the Game Grumps play it. So like,
yeah, that's good content.
In my head, my memory is
That's amazing.
Like, that line of like, you know, like right out, it's like, hey, you're a really nice person, but I'm not really like looking for anything right now, or whatever that line is, you know, like where Frank's like letting him down nice. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Like I just remember recording and going like, that's really sweet that like Frank's being nice to this person or whatever it is. And I had no idea that it was after I blew some dude in the backyard. And and so like those guys, they asked me, they go, so I was like, I don't do any noises, I don't do any romantic sounds, anything like that. That's all added in post later. And then Tiffany commented on her episode, and I would love to hear the other voice actresses chime in on this, where she was like, that son of a bitch didn't have to do it. She's like, I sent my kid away and I had to like for like all my moan and stuff.
No, because I was like, wait, Frank didn't moan? What the fuck?
Are you like the only one?
I think so.
No,
Oh my God.
I've never done any sexy sounds.
Yeah, no.
To be fair, I feel like if Frank like was having sex with someone, it would be just completely silent.
Silent?
Like,
I think so too.
And he would just stare at you like
It just
dead eyes,
like
so.
a dead space or something.
Yeah.
I think the only ones that refused were just Bentley and Ashley's character, and we had stand-ins for those. Actually, fun fact, Katabelle, you did a stand-in for one of our others. You did. I think you're the voice of Ashley moaning actually, because she wouldn't do that line, and then I asked Katabelle, I said, hey, can you do like a moan in like a different voice, like that sounds kind of like this girl? And she was like, yeah, I can do that.
And Katabelle, who do you
Amazing
play in the game? I'm sorry, I don't know who.
Vicky Vixen. She's like
Yeah, Frank has a crush on Vicky Vixen.
Yeah.
He does? When does he?
Yeah, he does.
No way. I don't
Oh yeah.
remember that.
Oh yeah, big time. Yep.
And Bentley, another fun fact is that you've actually got some cool lines coming up, because last time that we were on the call with Doja, she specifically asked to have beef with your character, with our character.
Oh, nice.
So there's gonna be an ongoing feud between Frank and Doja Cat.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
You guys, I'll tell everyone else here this story, and this proves that I'm 800 years old. I believe it was Bobby that messaged me and said, hey, you know, the big reveal is that Doja Cat's gonna be in the game. And or maybe it was, I think it was just the Eat Games account on Instagram. I was talking with somebody on Instagram. I forget who it was. Maybe
It was probably Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was that.
But the reveal, Alex, you'll be able to confirm this then, is that it was like, hey, the big reveal is that Doja Cat's going to be in the game. And my response back was, what's a Doja Cat? Is that like an NFT?
Is that an NFT? That's amazing.
And Alex responded back, he's like, no, it's a very popular singer. Look her up. And I was like, she can't be that popular. I've never fucking heard of her. And like, I fucking go on her Instagram and she's got 25 million followers and she's like 50-yard line at the Super Bowl. Like, that's when I found out, was like, and she's at the Super Bowl, just like right on the field. I was like, who is this person? Like,
yeah.
Then like I go on
My friend
YouTube.
and I were in a bowling alley when I met her. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Like, I went on YouTube and like I listened to the first 5 songs. I was like, oh, I know this song. And like I'd heard every single song. I'm like, oh, I know all of these songs. So I was like, oh, so that's a Doja Cat.
I know Tiffany has a good story too when she found out that it was.
Oh,
Doja.
because when you guys put out the clues, I was like, okay, there's only two people it could be. It could be either be Meg Thee Stallion or Doja Cat because those are the only ones that fit those criteria. And I was like, Doja Cat's a troll. It's Doja Cat. Like Doja Cat's a major troll. Like I've been following Doja Cat since like when she was Bitch I'm a Cow on Facebook,
Yes,
and she was like
yeah.
very
Oh, yeah.
small. So like when I was like, oh, Doja Cat would be so perfect for this game. And when I said Doja Cat and you guys liked it, I was like squinting my eyes. I'm like, my husband's like, are you really
Yeah, the
trying to
shadow
figure out the
outline.
clues of who this is? You like
Yeah.
that guy from Sunny in Philadelphia with the board and stuff like that. I was like, it's Doja Cat. It has to be. There's no other person that will like do a game like this other than Doja Cat. Meg Thee Stallion is more refined. Doja Cat is a troll. It has to be Doja Cat. And so like I'm sitting here waiting with bated breath because they didn't tell me shit.
We
asked
keep it very
multiple-
hush hush. Yeah.
I
Like, they
asked
didn't tell
multiple
me
times in
shit.
emails. I'd be like, and just casually, I'd send lines in and be like, and yeah, what's the big release? And I get an answer back to every question I asked, but that one.
Yeah.
Tiffany, if it makes you feel any better, we didn't even tell Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don just found out just now, actually.
Yeah.
Does
Someone
Dawn know
spoke
what a
on
Doja Cat
anything.
is? Because I sure as fuck didn't. She's
Actually-
she's really funny on TikTok. Like
She's
how she
is.
makes fun of
hilarious.
people.
Yes.
I
Oh
love
my
I started
God.
following
Yes,
her
I
and like just on all the platforms or whatever. And
Yes.
just being like,
Yeah, when we were
dude,
first
she's fucking
approached,
hilarious.
when we were first approached with her, we were kind of tentative because we were like, oh, okay, you know, like because I mean I knew who she was, I heard her music, but I didn't know her personality too much. And but then the more we looked into her personality, the more we were like, oh my God, this girl is perfect for this.
Mhm.
And so we kept talking to them, and eventually we ended up closing a deal with them, and yeah, it's been great. And actually, maybe you guys can give me some advice because she's actually nervous about voice acting because she's never done it before.
What? She's amazing.
No.
I thought it was.
Really?
I'm gonna have to sit on
Tell
a
you what,
4-hour phone call.
fly
with
me
her
out to the
and coach her through
studio,
voice
we'll-
acting.
Yeah, let's do a phone call with her.
Yeah.
I totally won't fangirl. I promise. I will. I promise.
Oh, I
do my
will.
best.
I'm not
Do it for
giving
me.
any guarantees like Tiffany is. So.
It's the
Yeah.
first time I've had
Same.
cred with my daughter in years. I was like, hey, do you know who Doja Cat is?
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I love her. And so I told her, I was like, well, she's gonna be a part of this game that I'm, and like I showed her like once the trailer came out, I showed her that.
Oh.
And she goes, oh my God, if you meet her, tell her that I have a man, but I'll leave her for her. And I was like,
Exactly.
Yes,
want me
I
to
think
hit on
a lot
Doja
of
Cat
us
for you?
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
every female's disposition of Doja Cat.
She was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I was like, you want me to hit on
Doja?
Doja Cat for you? She goes, yeah, would you? And I was like, yeah, that's hilarious.
Because she just played the
That's
game
funny.
recently with a content creator, and she was playing. I forgot the content creator's name. I follow her.
As you
too.
end.
Oh, as you
Yeah,
like.
yeah, and she was like, she was looking at Leah, and she was like, why is she following this Frank guy? And I was like, oh my God. She was like, I want to save her. I'm like, save me, Doja. Pick me up and like princess carry me out the door. It will be great. Like, I'm like, oh, she likes my character. She's like, I like her. I'm like, oh my God, she likes my character. I'm freaking the fuck out. And I scream. My husband's like, what's wrong? I was like, Doja likes Leah. He's like, oh my God, I'm leaving. But yeah, she's great. I can't wait to see the content and learn about and voice stuff and like keep it
Oh,
hush hush for
yes.
months.
We got some really good stuff planned with her, and we're gonna be try to coax her to be very. I mean, we wrote lines for her, but we kind of wrote them in a generic fashion because we want her to kind of add some spin onto them and say them how she would say them. You know what I mean? We don't. But it's funny content. It's gonna be a really cool expansion.
I do have to say, since you brought up that video where she played House Party with Azzyland, we, as you imagine, we did set that up, and that was, I think, our like maybe third time that we had cause to be on a video call with Doja. And just for anyone that's interested, like both Azzyland and Doja are so nice, like really, really awesome, chill, pleasant people, like super, super fun, very down to earth.
Yeah, Doja's she had the puzzle mindset going on that call.
Yeah.
On that stream, yeah. And she really wanted to hurt Frank.
Yeah, she did.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
She said at the end of the call, she said something like, that Frank guy, she goes, I want a thing with, like, I want to fight with him. I want like an ongoing thing. I want to hit him.
And we're like, no problem. We can do that.
No problem. Yeah. So we put that trailer together with her slapping Frank, and it's funny because her fans reacted. They were like, oh my God, they're just going to hit Frank.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah,
How much time do you have left, John?
There's a dive bar that I go to because it's $1.50 PBRs, and the bartenders just like, they know me, so I like walk in, but they also, one of them, she plays video games, and so I told her about House Party, and she goes, actually I know what this game is. And again, it was one of those experiences of, I was like, well, I'm Frank, and she's like, holy fuck, you're Frank. And so I told her about the Doja Cat thing, and I showed her the trailer, and she's like, wow, that is fucking cool. She slapped the fuck out of you. And I was like, yeah, I guess that was like a request of hers or something, like, to like be able to. And I didn't know Frank was like, again, until like I watched those guys like play through all my storylines, I didn't know Frank was like God mode-y, like where you can't really beat him.
Oh yeah.
You know, because to me, how I see Frank, he's the biggest dope there. So like, it's like you could like, you know, sneak under his chair and tie his shoelaces together, and Frank wouldn't fucking notice, and like you get up and trip over it. Like,
God mode Frank? Have you seen the God mode Frank content?
He's Dark Souls boss. He really is a fucking Dark Souls boss.
We have an achievement. We have an achievement in the game to beat up Frank without any buffs or enhancements. That because you can go down Leah's quest, and you can get she can train you to fight him. Yeah, but there's actually an achievement for actually beating him without getting Leah's training.
And the character function for turning Frank fully red and twice his size to beat up Aaron is called Change to God Mode Frank.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
For anyone that likes to use the console, yeah.
Sorry, did no one continue away from the alcohol?
How you can like trick him. I've seen people like lure him into a room and then shut the door on him, and he's just like, what? Like, you know, so
there's several ways. There's several ways to do it. You can actually get him concussed too. You can get him to ram his head into the door.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you did all the concussed lines. You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember recording those concussed lines, and I remember thinking, I really hope this doesn't sound like, you know, like high school drunk acting, you know, or whatever, you know, like high school theater drunk acting, like, because I was just kind of like, I know I've been concussed because I fell down a lot as a kid because I skated, you know, and so like I would always fall off of a half pipe, and like in my head I'm like, wow, I am lightheaded from smashing my face into the ground. Well, let's keep going. And but like, so I was trying to think, like, I didn't want it to like sound drunk, so it's like I actually, when I recorded it, or like I put my hand on my face like this so I couldn't move like part of my mouth, so I was like doing it like this, where I was like, oh right, and then I just physically like half lidded my eyes. It was just like, oh dude, what is going on? Like, you know. Does anybody else here, like, have you ever done like physical stuff for? There's a couple other things that Frank has done where I've physically moved something or done something, so like my voice.
Lety has a great story about that.
The snake
Same, I
thing.
do this too for character.
Yeah, the snake thing when he was Mr. Squeezers was squeezing. I was like, I did like 3 or 4 takes where I just like held my throat, and then as I continued to do the lines, I just like basically choked myself out, and was like, you know, and just like pushed on it, and but anybody else here? Yeah, Lety, you have a story?
Did I say that?
Oh, I thought
Specifically, I think I
somebody
said,
did.
oh no.
She definitely does. Yeah.
Oh, throw me under the bus. Earlier you were talking about like how you don't have to do your moaning and stuff, but I have a couple dialogues where it's like I'm talking through a blowjob, and I'm just like I was trying to puff my cheeks out, and I'm like, that doesn't sound quite right. So I'm just like, I collected all the spit. It's kind of, I don't know if this is gross to say, but I collect.
This is good. You're as much to tell us you want. Go for it.
Like
No, I didn't just talk because that didn't work, and I ended up like spitting all over the place, which was super gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like collect a lot, and that's what I went with, and that's what I sent in. And then Bentley was mentioning like how many times you have to record your lines or something, and Tiffany, you mentioned getting your kids out of the room, your son out of the room, but like
No, I
for
get him out
me,
the
it's
house.
the house.
I said you need to leave. Go
Give
have
him the
fun with your
$20 bills.
cousins.
Like, go see a Star Wars. Here you go.
Right.
No, I had to get him out the house because if he hears, he's a teenager, and if he hears this, he's gonna be like, "What is happening in there?"
Mom's working.
Well, for me, I record like 50 takes, and not because I'm practicing my line like how Bentley says. It's just since I'm only voicing me, the last thing like you want to do is think about like Lety should sound like whatever, and then I start panicking and freaking out, and then that's when it like really sets in like, oh God, how should this be voiced? How should a normal person say it? But I do like 50 takes because I live in Los Angeles, and it's Los Angeles. So when I say I don't live in the great part of Los Angeles, I don't feel like that really says much. But anyway, you can hear like random like helicopters and dogs and sometimes gunshots. My pet birds, I have these guys. So like I'll finally be like, I'll have my son in my mouth and I'll be like, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. And then just, I'm like, and we're starting all over.
Yeah.
Or like I remember what happened as I was sitting in the corner, and these guys were on the bed, and like I'm trying to figure out how to do it, and at some point I like have my fingers in my mouth, I'm looking over, and these two are staring at me, and I'm just like, shame. Tiffany, you got your son out of the house, and I'm just like, I had to put a blanket over these guys. I'm like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
When I lived in LA, it was the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The mocap.
Motion capture. Yeah.
Mocap, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into making a complete finished scene for sure.
Yeah.
More people work on that than you would think.
I want to see that so badly.
Yeah, side by side.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I've had people, once they figure out that I'm in this, like friends of mine or whatever, they've I'll just randomly, it's happened 3 different times where I've gotten a text and it's just like a link. They're like, check this out. And I'm like, all right. And so I
the
click
stream
on
is
it.
saying no audio.
For me?
Oh, for Jim? I thought I saw that before too.
People are saying in the YouTube channel they can't hear audio.
Oh no.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
because I'm on one thing but not another. So, for the people on the channel,
But is it just you, Jim? Maybe
I
is your
was,
mic not on?
no, I think I got it. I was muted. I was saying that there's a really cool, funny, or distinct concept that happens between somebody that says, "Hey, I've made these vocal moans and I have to act them out." So how do we take the people that say, I can make those moans, I can act those scenes, and the people who are literally on some stage across the world with probably a green screen with dots all over the bodies, and we say, hey, you're going to put the legs here and your head goes here and record that for 30 seconds, and we have to make it match the voices of these people, and then the people on the stream, Lies, etc., have to make that work into a complete cutscene in the game.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
fantastic experience.
It reminds
it's
me of
not only that.
okay.
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Okay, then I'm going to steal it. I've had to review these because what they do is before they process it so that we get the product that we can put in the game, they send us a recording of them on the stage where they wear the dotted suits, and they do the performance that we request. And so I have to review that and pick the best takes. And they have a lot of fun with the stuff that we sent them. There's a lot of giggling going on, but there's also people on the side of the stage that sort of have to do the directions and have to judge and give just make sure that it comes out well. And every now and then there's this one guy that goes, oh. I just love it. And there's random people that come on and watch what's going on. Apparently, I think they have a great time doing it.
Yeah, probably like people come in on their off days, like they're not even supposed to be working that day. They're like, wait, they're recording what? Okay, yeah, we gotta come in for that.
I think
You got a house party tomorrow? All right, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
I think after
it
really
reminds
when the-
me of like in that movie Love Actually, where it's like the two stand-ins, they're pretending to do like the sex scene for the lighting or whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
Can you cut the breast? And it's just like very clinical, like. But
I think
what
after-
I was gonna say is like I've had 3 different people be like, "Hey man, check this out," and they sent me a link, and then I would just like I click on the link because they're my friend or whatever. I'm like, okay, but it takes me to like some sort of pornography site, and people have done like cut together compilations of all the sex scenes in the game.
Yeah, that is correct.
And the first time I saw it, like I watched it and I was like, this is fascinating. This is great. I was like, who knew all of this was in this game? Again, because like I don't play it. So I'm like, this is in this game. Wow. That is so interesting. And like I'm like, oh, this storyline. And then that's where I first noticed the moaning thing. I was like, oh, I never had to do that. That's great. Like, and that's also like the first time I got it, it was before I knew about my happy ending in the backyard. So like, I had no idea. I was like, I guess my character's just, he's the fucking square of the party. He didn't do anything.
Have you seen your other scene? Have you seen like the actual Frank cut scene, like the full thing? He's in the shower.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game or not Game Grumps, the Snack Break Club guys, like we did 5 or 6 episodes. I think we played every Frank adventure.
Nice.
And that sort of thing. So it was really neat.
Keep up with your cardio in real life, Bentley?
I'm sorry.
Could you keep up with your cardio in real life? Because Frank doesn't keep up with his cardio apparently.
Oh, I exercise and I teach tap dance. So I'm well exercised and cardioized, but
the best thing about like the first.
Frank
Oh, go ahead,
should
Bob.
teach tap dance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, when Lety won the contest, we were sending her. She was like, "All right, well, what are the next steps?" And I don't know if you remember this, Lety, but I was like, "Oh, well, we got to get some pictures. You got to take some pictures of your face so we can model you and blah blah blah." And she was like, do I have to get in one of those motion capture suits and record animations? And I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm like on that subject. I still want to chime in and say that if it like makes anything easier to like match everything up, I'm down to like going wherever the studio is and doing like my motion capture myself.
It's
I
in
know
Germany,
how to,
I
I
think.
can,
No, it's in
gyrate
Serbia.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Serbia.
Let me know.
Serbia. So that'll be quite a trip for you.
That's a travel right there.
Right.
I think the best thing about like Frank's original, not that it's like a love scene, I guess, but like when he like blows you inside is no, but the best thing is like all the player's trying to do is get a condom, and Frank thinks that he's coming on to him, and the best thing is like you have to go through this like 2 or 3 different ways you can get the condom, and the easiest way is just to let Frank blow you. It's like fuck, just fucking blow me, and then afterwards it's like, oh, and here's that condom you wanted. It's like you've almost forgotten about it by that point, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's why this happened. Because I think the first scavenger hunt.
Isn't there something for? Is Vicky the one in like the black and white striped Hot Topic shirt?
She's in a black top, I think.
Okay.
Actually, kind of
Who's
like
the one
this
in like the
actually.
white and black.
Oh,
stripe?
Ashley.
Oh,
Okay.
Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley.
On our stream, I started making fun of that, like talking about Hot Topic, and then like they got her top off for some reason. Whatever the reasons was, and it was like out like on the other side of the house, like not the Frank blowing side, the other side. On the side of the house, I was like, you know what you should do? You should put Jack Skellington faces over her boobs, like in the stream. And so they did that. And I was like, because like the black and white.
That's amazing.
Hot Topic.
Yeah, that side, not
what's
the Frank blowing side, the other side of the house.
Yeah,
That
that's
side.
how you
Right.
reference things in our game. Yeah.
You leave
There's
my
the
love side
Frank
of the house
blowing
alone.
side, and then there's the Frank burning in a barbecue in a fire
right.
pit
They're
side.
distinct, different.
That's true.
Different sides.
Yeah, one is so full of love and one is filled with so much violence. You choose
Well,
which one you think it is.
We'll just start like defining every part of the map by what happens to Frank in that room, because I think there's like a major
It'd be
thing
way
that happens
easier
to
for
him
me
in
to
every
remember.
part. Yeah. It's like,
I
yeah,
know
the
so.
part where you're getting choked by the snake, that's the part where this part happens. Like,
I think that was probably some of my favorite recording stuff, and I'd love to hear the other voice actors.
Oh God, the snake.
But I think that session with the Julius Squeezer, and then I don't know if it was the same session, but all of the stuff about like Frankie's Fuck Palace or whatever he calls it.
Frankie's fuck around.
Oh, Frankie's
Fuck Around Club, and
yeah.
like he's talking because I remember improvising a lot about like because like back in the day when I was in a band, we played several competitions, Battle of the Bands, that's what they're called, but it was at a local strip club because they always wanted like bands to like play live music there because they had like a big stage, and so we were in several like Battle of the Bands at these local strip clubs, and I remember like them giving us food afterwards, and the guys always being like, I mean, I know it's a strip club, but we got a pretty good steak and some good wings here, like and like shit like that, like. And so like when it was Frankie's Fuck Around Club, I remember improvising a bunch of weird shit. Like it just like I would say your lines, but then I'd like start talking about the food, and I would start talking about weird shit.
Andy will be there. Strippers sitting on faces.
Yeah. Like there were so many things that like I got to have fun with, and like also like how much I mean again, because I don't play the game all that often, like how often do you guys, and then the voice, first ADHD, let's get it on control. First question is for the other voice actors. What did I say? Do you guys, what is your favorite moments or like some of your favorite updates or like lines or something that you can remember recording? Round the table, go.
Ha. No, I'm not going first. I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh.
It's so much because like I think there's this line I say about Patrick, and I just felt like I felt so bad reading it. It's something about like I called him like a small dick having child touching or something like that. I don't remember the line off the top of my head. I was like, good Lord, woman, did you have to murder him?
Yeah,
Like,
but then once you get to know Patrick, you realize he deserves it.
yeah. Once you know Patrick, I can hear my husband laughing in the background because he knows the line. Oh God, what was the line? There was a line that was like, we're talking about. I think we're talking about weed. There's
Tommy
like
Bahama something looking motherfucker, right? That's
yeah. There's something about weed, and as an avid person of the Devil's Lettuce, I was laughing reading this.
Jazz
so I was like,
cigarettes.
I'm actually gonna smoke up and do this line. So like,
there you
so
go.
the part when it's in the garage, all that scene in the garage, I'm stoned as fuck during the line. So like, this line is like,
That's amazing.
it's like sit on my ass. It's like sit on my ass. It was like sit on my ass and call me Tuesday. Did you see the size of that thing?
Yes,
I thought we were just wrangling some little puny garden snake. That thing was like the Godzilla of danger noodles. Snakes change, my man. like
Danger noodles.
yeah, it was like I think I really like the Leah storyline, the snake storyline, even though I've never seen it the good way. I've always seen these Let's Players like evil Leah because they put the fucking camera in her face, and apparently that has to do with making her evil. Apparently, I don't know.
Is that when you're hiding in the bushes and shit?
Yeah, when I have the face paint and like I
Right.
get the snake and I'm topless and her
That was
AI
so-
went crazy.
That was so weird to me the first time I saw that with the Snack Break Club guys. I was like, we gotta find her, and they're like, I think she's in the bushes. Like, why the fuck is she in the bushes? And then like we find you and you no clothes on. I was like, why the fuck does she not have any clothes? What is happening?
That story, it's funny because like we recently, a big thing we did was we got legitimate and we got a mature rating from the ESRB. But the process to do that, we had to make this huge video that encapsulates all the most extreme content in House Party. Like, it's like, show us the worst sex, show us the worst profanity,
Like,
show us the worst
kind of the
violence.
whole game.
Right. It's like, it's just play the game. No, but
Yeah,
like
just
we were
play the game,
we were
you'll
thinking
see
like, but then we realized like, wait, what's one story that has the most extreme violence, like the most extreme like sex and like weird stuff in it? Oh, Leah's story has all of that stuff. Perfect. So we just made like a montage of Leah's story, both the good and the bad route, and that covered almost all the bases we had to cover to get the game rated. Just kind of funny.
John,
So-
a lot of our voice actors probably don't know about the mature and explicit version too, right?
Oh yeah, that's a relatively new thing. Yeah, we actually had to move. Actually, I'll let Bob talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, we've always wanted to get the game rated to open us up to other platforms. I mean, we've had, you know, an ongoing thing. The thing about House Party is that it's kind of a double standard with the whole, like, you know, violence being so universally accepted, and, you know, sex and nudity is always like, you know, oh my God, like, you know, can't show a nipple, but you can show someone's spine being ripped out through their teeth, you know.
I love that game.
Yeah, but oh yeah, that's a Franklin, isn't it? I think I wrote it. So, yeah. So I mean, you know, so the thing is, like, you know, when I was writing the game, I didn't worry about where those lines were because I'm just writing a game. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about down the line like, oh, we got to get rated, we got to get on this platform, we got to get on that platform. And as the game became more and more popular, you know, we starting to get on all these new platforms, and some of them just flat out won't do like adult only content, you know. So so now we've actually so in the base game actually, and it's funny because you guys probably don't realize this because all the influencers play with like the extreme version, but House Party's got two versions. It's got a mature version that is acceptable for, you know, basically streaming or anything like that, but none of the streamers use that one. They play the extreme one, and then they just go in and they make the
Blur it
edits
out.
themselves, and they block out the stuff themselves because they want to see it while they're playing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
like
interesting.
Mortal Kombat. Remember back in the day, you could turn blood mode on or off, like the first Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
yeah. We kind of have the similar thing where you have an explicit version or a non-explicit version. And the non-explicit version, because I mean, like, honestly, like, you know, the sex and nudity in House Party makes up for less than 5% of the game. I mean, there's tons of content in the game, and it's all just wacky, zany stuff going on. But it's the sex scenes that, like, everybody's like, oh my God, like, that's what they're losing their minds over. So I mean, for taking 5% of our game, we just made some newer cutscenes that are just more like late night cable kind of stuff rather than like extreme. So and that's all we needed for our mature version. Everything else in the game is completely fine. It was just the sex and the nudity that were like, oh well, hold on now. So.
And the fun thing about those cutscenes, and I tease Zig about this all the time, but that was an idea he came up with, I think, like 6 months ago now. Like, what if we did cutscenes instead of like kind of like a FPV type thing? And that has been like basically his full-time job for 6 months, and he's still not done.
Yeah.
So every time I talk to him, I'm like, aren't you glad you came up with that idea? How's that going?
It's a grind for sure.
Yeah.
I'm now working on all the cutscenes for the female playthrough content, and a lot of that is like lesbian stuff. And yeah, that's just been my month.
What a great, that's a great segue actually, because I believe we've gotten several questions about the female playthrough, which we've touched on briefly a couple of times. But Alex, do you have any specific ones queued up, or should we just launch into talking about it?
Yeah. Hey, Austin Bird asked a while back, what is the expected release for the female player? Have you guys finalized? And have you finalized what the expected price would be for the DLC? I'm not sure if this person thinks that that's a DLC or if they're asking about Doja Cat DLC.
You know, the female player won't be a DLC. That'll be added to the game to the base game when we exit early access and that'll be included in. So if you already own the game, you'll already get the female playthrough. we're looking probably. Well, you can actually play it right now on a Steam testing branch. If
Very, very, very early look though.
It's an early look. Yeah, it's
Very
just
unfinished.
it's there's no story yet. It's just really it's the male story, but we've got the female model and everything like dialed in, so you can actually play as a female. All the story content should be coming actually probably in the next few weeks. We should have some early access versions for our Discord channel and for
Patreon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, but we're aiming toward the summer. I think we're probably you'll see something in July.
Oh, we just set the date. Well, we said it
a month.
pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, we could say the month.
I
Yeah.
said probably.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe.
Yeah, you
All right,
gave enough half-ass adjectives in there to you.
I covered myself.
Somewhere around like middle of July, maybe.
No, I mean the thing about game development is it's you never know what you're going to run into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes we think we've got it all under control and we're ready to put a build out, and then we realize, oh, we got to fix this, or sometimes we just put it out to like early players and we get that feedback from them and they say, oh, this is super broken and we have to go back. And so I mean,
Sometimes you go to sleep and it's fine, and you just get up the next morning and you what?
Yeah. Speaking of you, Doc, if we're probably maybe possibly somewhat going to do it in July, Don, how do you have time to even be doing this right now? Yeah, it's all hypothetical. But shouldn't you be working on that right now?
Have you noticed I've been talking?
Oh, that's what you're doing on your side.
Yeah,
That's
that's QAing in the background.
Yeah.
We have another kind of related to what you were just saying earlier, Bob. Another question about any chance we will add more cutscenes or POV scenes for the explicit DLC owners?
Yes, absolutely. We have.
I'll take this one. That is going to 100% happen. I'm throwing it to my man. I'm throwing it to my man Zig. He's already on it. So
Yep.
That's right.
As the guy that makes these sorts of decisions around House Party, it's gonna happen.
Now that Bentley Michaels, our new creative director, we're gonna have
CEO.
Yeah.
You guys shouldn't have let me in this call. I'm gonna start promising all sorts of shit.
Oh man.
Do it.
Bentley,
Do
can
it.
you promise? Can I be an office?
A lot of
party,
questions
Bentley?
about consoles too.
Oh,
Oh,
do
yeah.
we want to talk about consoles? Can we talk about that? Or should we? I don't know.
We're not
All
allowed
right.
to say too much about it,
Yay.
but the plan is, to go to console. And actually,
We're working on
we
it.
already are on Steam Deck, which was our first.
That's actually a huge motivation. Was a huge motivation for why we got the game rated. That was a necessary step in that journey. Yeah, but we definitely want to make House Party as accessible as possible for people, no matter what method they have to play games. There have been some questions I know about, will House Party ever be mobile? I don't think that's in the plan per se. The closest thing we have to mobile is it's on the Steam Deck.
Chucking some D's on a bus. You need to be able to play it on a mobile device so you can get your D's stuck on a bus on your way to work.
Well, I guess you can.
I
I guess
demand
you can. Like John was trying to say, you can play it on a Steam Deck, which is like the sort of Nintendo Switchy type console that plays PC games that Valve, the makers of Steam, put out. So technically, you can do it on a bus if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
True. I think we did establish. Oh, Letty's cat's doing a major cameo right now. I think we did. I think we did establish earlier in this call, though.
Woman. Oh,
We did establish that if there's a player petition that reaches at least 27 signatures, I think we have to do it. So that's if we get 27 people, then we have to do whatever they want.
27 is not a big number, folks. Right into your local
VR,
congressman.
yeah.
Yeah, VR
Yeah.
development question, sure.
VR.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a lot of questions about if we're going to do alternative outfits DLCs.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
That is definitely in the pipeline as well. You can take that up with Ly.
Yeah.
Right.
Why?
Frank,
Is there any?
different colored tank top? Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
may have
Like
unofficially
that.
said in the chat that it could happen this year.
That's okay. We're off tomorrow.
Yeah, what are you guys pushing over there? 2 a.m. now?
We
Coming up 3.
Oh wow.
Oh, where are you guys at?
We're in the Netherlands. in
Oh,
Europe,
wow.
Central Europe. So,
Well,
yeah.
what's up? How are you doing? I haven't seen you on my screen yet. Like it keeps like merry-go-rounding around, so I haven't seen you. How you doing, buddy?
So you have to
do?
spread it
What do you
out.
do for the game? I know this is probably already answered, but I'm a dum-dum. Lie?
me?
Yeah. What do you do for the game?
I do a lot of the art for the game and making the cutscenes. So basically, a lot of the the items that you see around the house or interact with, that's stuff that
cool.
I make.
He
like
hates
that
your
director.
a lot.
Like that box of screws in the garage. Did you make that?
That box of screws.
Funny you should
That's,
mention that.
got my face
Love
on
that
it.
box of screws.
The new box of screws, though. Hold on. I recently made a new
You
box.
got a really
of
nice
screws.
thread count on there, bud. You really stepped up your game. I haven't seen the cheeseburger.
Oh man, she's
very
very
good
cool.
Oh man, it's a very good cheeseburger.
Oh,
While we're on this, I
crafty
want to
son of
give
a
a big shout out to Lie
hold on.
for being so cool.
I do.
So when
I
my
do enjoy
update was
that.
coming out, the model didn't, look like me. I feel, and then Lie. Oh my god, I want to say
yeah.
like I'm so sorry with how much time we spent on it, because we spent forever on it. Yeah, I felt like it didn't really match up to my body, so I messaged him and I was like, can it look like this and can it look like that? And I ended up just sending him like gigabytes of nudes and close-ups, telling him to like, can you please make it look more like this, more like that? So yeah, we worked
got a great job.
What his job is
together.
See Bentley, we didn't even make you send us nudes. I mean, you act like you got.
What's so funny
Yeah,
is
he
I
doesn't
only
have to do the moans. He doesn't have to send the
What'd you do
nudes.
for us?
They actually arrived. I found that.
I only grew my hair out for the play so they could like stick the wig, to it. Normally I shave my head. I'd be part of the Jonathan Don Strickland camp, and with some facial hair and like a bald head. Yeah, there you go, bud. Yeah, you can't grow it up there either. Yeah, like mine. It doesn't do well, but
But that's
yeah,
an amazing
actually-
roll, Bentley. I'll give you 15 seconds. That's an amazing roll.
Oh.
What are you doing?
a what?
Elevator speech. I saw your roll. What are you doing?
A roll?
Yeah,
A what?
in the play.
Matilda.
Matilda.
Oh, Matilda. Oh,
Who are
I
you?
was Miss Trunchbull in
I know.
Matilda. Oh,
Promote it. You got 10 seconds.
Oh,
Go
you're
ahead.
Miss Principal?
It's amazing. Go
Oh
ahead.
my god.
I don't know. I don't understand.
It's like it's like a plug. This is your chance to plug.
Oh,
yeah.
The show is completely sold out and it's also completely over. So
Oh well.
All right, you're done.
That's how
Awesome.
it.
Thank you. Next.
sorry,
saying
I
there's a chance.
just figured out what he was doing. No, it ran from April 29th to May 22nd, and it sold out. It sold out all performances, and and we get a little plaque on the wall and everything.
No, that was
for
a
doing
great
that.
roll. Thank you, Bentley.
Yeah, hey, thanks, bud.
That was 10 seconds
So-
for you. Thank you.
But I was wondering, like, you obviously had the Frank model before, but like I've seen Frank, and I've had people on Twitter like that have interacted with me that are fans of it, and they've seen me, and they're like, you actually look at you guys did not model him. Like I didn't send you guys a picture or anything like that. Right?
No.
I haven't
No,
had
it
hair
was
in years,
it's
so I
total
usually shave
coincidence, yeah.
head. It's just a coincidence of shaved head white guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say one thing. Like when I saw Leah's boobs, I was like, that's close. Good job.
I do
Very
want
good
to add
job.
that if we're gonna send you over to the Game Grumps, you are gonna have to put on the Frank outfit and commit. To
Oh
the
yeah,
Please.
Yes.
I'll get a tank top and I'll go outside and get a tan so I'm not like translucent and yeah, I'll totally get some camo pants, get some camo shorts. I'll totally dress up as Frank for like and go down to California and hang out with those silly guys.
What's the possibility
Yeah,
of
and keep
Frank
a
doing
condom
like
in your
a
pocket.
movie? Like,
A Frank movie?
yeah. What if we say so someone comes to Frank and says, "Hey, I feel the need for
How's it going, dude?
yes,
The movie?
Pretty much.
How's it going, dude? The movie?
Sorry, Top Gun Maverick's coming out this weekend.
Oh,
Frank was in it.
I was I should have known that because I was just on a Top Gun movie by minute podcast last week. It's
Yeah.
Top Gun Minute.
Oh,
And I hadn't seen the movie since I was 8, and so like it was fun to like watch it again. It was like the scene where they're like talking on the back porch or whatever, and then they meet in the elevator, and you know, it was all just talking, and I was like, I don't remember any of this. This is amazing.
Nope. Just the one scene. I feel the need for speed, like
The need for speed.
Frank.
I
So
feel the need. The need
So
for
I'd lo-
speed, dude.
I'd love to explore, like, dig into the nuances of the character modeling off of real characters a little bit,
Sure.
because we are getting a little late. But this is, I guess, kind of like for Lai and Lety, and it's kind of fortuitous that you two are both in here because Lety, you were the first real person that we put into House Party, which ultimately led to Doja Cat coming to the game, and also I believe you were the first real person that Lai ever modeled and put into a video game. Is that right, Lai?
Yeah, I was the first
yeah.
real person, period, actually.
And how it's
So-
part.
Did you pick
So-
your outfit, by the way? I've always wondered that.
Yeah,
outfit
we worked
outfit that you wear?
together for the outfit. I wanted to make it something that we could I could replicate in real life
Uh-huh.
for the
That's
purpose of just
Cosplay and stuff.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really suck at sewing. So when I say I wanted to make it something that I could make, I meant like I could gather all the materials, and then my friend Shelby Eileen, she sewed it together because I really suck at sewing. I've gotten a little better now, but you know, this was important. I wanted it to look good. So I drew it up and everything, and I just really wanted, you know, something to match my little lightning bolt aesthetic that I have for all my crap, which is just out of view. But you know,
It's really
Yeah,
cool you
yeah,
have
yeah.
that poster up there. I really like that.
I have
Yeah.
two actually. So this one was made by my friend Free Glass over here, and then this one was actually made by a fan that I was supposed to do a whole video of me doing the changing out things, and you know, I wanted to give him a shout out and everything, and it got super late, and I feel super terrible about it, so I really need to go back and make that right. Yeah.
I've had a
And
couple.
Letty was our first cosplay too. She cosplayed as Rachel. Like,
Mhm.
Yep, that's right.
That's awesome. Has
So-
any of the other voice actors, have you had fans reach out to you? Like I had a thing a couple of years ago, and the guys were super rad to help me out with this. Is like there was this guy, he and his wife played, and together, and he messaged me on Twitter, and he goes, "Hey, I'm sure you get this all the time, but would you mind recording like a little audio snippet for my wife for Christmas?" And I was like, A, I don't get it all the time. B, I would be happy to, but you have to record her reaction and put it on Twitter so I can like tag my bosses and everything. And so I did like this little 30-second thing of like, how's it going, dude? You know, your husband got you this video. It's still on Twitter or whatever. And she cried. And then, which I was like, whoa, that's crazy. She's like, and then I sent them, they sent me like a 4K headshot of Frank that I printed out and I signed. And then I've got this weird picture from when I lived in Los Angeles where it's like a headshot, but I'm wearing an eye patch. And so I printed that out and signed it as well and wrote him a little handwritten note. And I sent it to him, and they have it. They took the video, and then they sent me a picture. They have it on their walls, everything all framed, and like, you know, and like my pictures and the letter and stuff. And they just recently had, in the last year, they had a baby, and I sent them the How's It Going Dude shirts, you know, for like their wedding anniversary and stuff like that. Have you? I'm sure Lety more so than everybody else, because like you Twitch and you stream and you have a following already. But like, have any of the other voice folks, like, have you?
Lety, do you have a cameo or anything?
What?
A
You have a
like
cameo?
a yeah.
I'm not. You mean, is that the thing where you pay like famous people to say things
Yeah,
for
basically,
you?
yeah.
No, I am not good enough at voice acting to do that. I am not good enough at voice and human speech and social interaction and
Oh no.
yeah, anything to do that. So no, I was just very confused, but no. Yeah.
Katabelle, have you
True to
had
the
any
character.
fans?
I'm not social. Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
some guy ask me on Twitter, like, will you moan my name as Vicky? And I'm like, money.
Oh my god.
Yes,
Money.
money.
'Cause I'm a
Money.
full-time voice actress. And then they ran away. So yeah.
They ran away.
They didn't
I think-
respond.
So
That's
I
amazing.
stream a lot on Twitch, and actually one of my mods is actually started watching me because of House Party.
That's
And
right.
his name is Tenebrarius. He's actually one of the mods in the House Party thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he was like, he became a fan, I think a couple weeks after I was announced as the voice in that article. And he was like really dedicated, and then now he's a mod, and now we're planning a big like mod like trip coming here next year, and we're trying to gonna get all the mods together. So but I have a lot of people that come in and be like, your voice sounds familiar, where have I heard it before? I'm like, have you played a game called House Party? Because that's the closest to my natural voice it is. And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, hi, I'm Leah, I'm the apprentice of Sensei Frank. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. I was like, yeah, if I made you come, you owe me a Valentine's Day card. Yeah.
That's
So,
fair.
like,
That's only
sounds like-
fair. Yeah.
That's my joke.
It
I
sounds
say
like
to
when-
everyone.
oh, sorry.
Tiffany, my
Sounds like we
my,
might need
my
a
sister
DLC.
watches
Well, I guess
your
I'm buying you a
stream.
Valentine's Day card.
Ah.
Tiffany, my
It sounds like we might. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
my sister actually watches your stream. She texted me and said, "Hey, did you know one of your voice actors has a Twitch stream?" And I was like, "Oh, which one?" And she goes, "Oh, Tiffany." I was like, "Oh yeah, she does that." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been watching her. She's really cool."
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sounds like we have a potential new DLC here, though. We may need to have insert your name, sex scene, explicit content DLC.
Oh, right. Or people can commission them. We'll have
Yeah.
a built-in cameo in
I mean,
House
we got
Party.
Vicky,
Pay
we
us
got
money.
They're just like, no,
Leah's Leah.
no
Yeah.
more.
We'll just get the
I mean,
voice
you
actors
just get
for
Lety and
every
Frank,
single
we'll be good to
name.
go.
say all you have to do is go to any gift shop in the tourist town where they have those custom like keychains that have your name on it. Just do
Oh,
one of each of those, and
Read
that'll
off all the
cover
names,
most of your. But yeah, that'll give you every name.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're
God,
out
this
of
took
Bort
so
license
long.
plates. We're out of Bort license plates.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so actually,
that reminds me of that. It's the Camp Krusty episode where it's like they've got like the intro video. It's like Krusty be like, "Hey kids, welcome to Camp Krusty. Now please give it up for Mr. Black. Yay! Your new camp counselor, Mr. Black." And we have like one stock thing, and then we just insert, "Hey, it's like, how's it going, dude? This is Frank, and you're Sean. And we're so excited that you bought this." And it's the same like every time.
Yes.
oh my god. Oh, actually, Tiffany, you're talking about your streams earlier,
Give us
and
your money.
yeah, right. No, Tiffany, it'd be remiss of us to not ask about your charity streams while we have you on here. I really wanted to touch on that. If you could just tell us a little bit about that and tell the listeners, it'd be super cool. And one quick thing before you answer that. When we publish this and post like some smaller segments, which we'll post on YouTube, please, anyone that's here as a guest, send us any links to any of your stuff that you want us to plug in the video descriptions, because we'll absolutely do that. We'd love to do that. But anyways, yes, please tell us about the charity streams.
So I do a charity twice a month on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tiffany Witcher, and I raise money for different causes. And so far, I'm almost at $60,000 in 3 years of charity streaming. And I've worked with organizations from Make-A-Wish to the Lupus Foundation to just help people in different parts of the world with money, because money helps.
Yeah, it does.
Get things.
It does. That's super cool. I will absolutely post a link to that. Alex, I think you've got a few more player questions you want to throw in before we start to wrap up here.
Let me see what we got here. A lot around how did Doja Cat happen? They're blown away that we got Doja Cat, and how did that come to be?
Well, secret's
We
out.
answered that
I
already?
called her
Not
up.
really, right?
What?
I just called her up.
You
I
didn't
was
really
like, Doja, it's me.
I think we did touch on it earlier. I was saying that we
Okay.
were kind of scouting out, very I mean, the thing is we ran that contest, and putting Lety in the game and putting Game Grumps in the game just went over wildly well with our fan base. So, I
love how they fall out of that hot air balloon. That made me laugh the first time I saw it.
Yeah, and so we were just like, would this work so well? I mean, what if we thought bigger? What if we did this with a larger celebrity? And I was like, well, where do we go from Game Grumps? And like, I don't know, so we started kind of like shopping around, and we were talking to a lot of different people, which I don't think I can mention a lot of them because we were under NDAs, but Doja Cat. Just there was a mutual interest there, and we went back and forth, and finally, we landed it. And I mean, we were kind of, like I said, we were kind of like, when we were first approached with her, like I knew of her, I knew her music, but I didn't know like what her personality was like, because I mean, obviously they have to be a good fit for the game, and then when I looked up her personality, first thing I saw was her Move video, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, this is gonna be a home run. So.
I think I have one more that's kind of a question that's pretty good, and then I would say if you got any, John, in the list.
Yeah,
pick a good one.
I've got a couple, but yeah, go ahead.
So this one is, I kind of brought it up earlier. It's about consoles, but this one goes a little bit more into it about, what are the challenges for us getting on consoles? Will we have to do a more censored version? Not even AAA titles get away with intense sex scenes.
Yeah, so I mean that's part of the reason that we ended up having to split the product into two, into two games. I mean, like when we were first writing the game, we just anything goes. We just put content in the game. We didn't really worry about like where the lines were. I mean, because we didn't even know if it was going to take off. And apparently, 1 million copies later, we're like, oh, okay, so I guess there is interest for this crazy, ridiculous.
Oh shit! Katabelle just fucking ripped a ball over there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Hey, we're friendly. We're friendly with all that content.
Oh,
We're about it.
Hilarious.
But yeah, so we were like, so then we started asking questions about console and various different platforms, and we realized, okay, well, here's where the line is. So, and we didn't want to take away that content though from the game. So what we did is we split it into an extension DLC, and now the base game itself, it's the same scenes that you see in the regular mature version of the game on PC for the most part. We're modifying them slightly to be a little more console friendly, which weirdly enough, we just have to make them a little more romantic, it seems, rather than, because house parties about kind of like coming to a party, hooking up with people that you just met, but apparently going the more romantic route gets you a little more leeway with certain platforms.
I would add cinematic more than romantic.
Cinematic, yeah, romantic cinematic. So some of the new developments, and actually we've started working on them, and Zigga's actually been putting a couple of early prototypes together, and they actually are really well put together, and I think they're actually better than the original scenes that we had envisioned for the censored version of the game, and so I think it's ironically, with them coming back and saying, well, it has to be more this way, we're kind of like, oh no, we have to change it. But then when we change it, we're like, wow, this actually works really well and it looks really nice. So we're excited about taking this direction, and that'll help us get to where we want to get.
Bentley.
I have a demand. I have a demand for Zigga over there. If I could get some swooping crane shots on the dick suck scene, that would be great.
Yeah.
I won't lie that we're looking at the
start at the top of the gazebo thing and then just sort of pan over, swoop down into, we'll call it Frankie's love corner, and then just
Frankie's like a drone.
I actually already have sort of made that scene into a thing, and I think there is probably a swooping crane shot.
He's telling the truth. Yeah.
I
won't lie.
I'm so excited.
What we're going for. Yes.
Zigga's always one step ahead.
You got to
Yeah,
send me
he
that
is.
file, bud. I want to see that crane shot scene. And then just get right in there. So just the camera just comes in. It's just like.
But
Yeah, sure.
romantically.
But make it look
Romantically, of course.
romantic. Like give it some
Yeah,
soft
yeah.
lighting. You
Vaseline.
put some Vaseline on the lens, you know? So it's just like.
Yeah, if you add music, it'll make it more romantic.
There actually is a different, I believe, a different music track for every cutscene we're doing. Is that right, Zega?
All right.
Yeah. They all have their own vibe going on.
Yeah.
Romantic.
Yeah, we've really and by we I mean Zega, we have put so much work into these cutscenes. You guys have no idea. Like seriously. Yeah.
Well, if you ever need
Aw.
like help with music or anything, I mean, I make music, so like I can play a whole bunch of shit. So like, you know, if you want to develop like a whole Frankie theme and a whole fun thing, yeah,
Can you do a sleazy saxophone?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called Frank.
Next time I
Bentley
gotta
really
do
got
some,
serious. He was like, "You're questioning me now." Give me
first
a
of all,
I
moment.
gotta
there's
do
no
some,
other
some
type of
prank shit.
saxophone.
I'll hit you up.
No other type of saxophone. It's just that 80s Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
You know, gotta have it.
Yeah.
Sexy
Saxophone.
results.
You got it.
The sexy
We
result
wanna-
saxophone.
So I did see someone comment earlier when we were talking about like cosplaying and stuff, suggesting that we do a house party cosplay contest, which I totally agree with. And without consulting anyone else on the EEK team, I say that we will definitely do that for sure.
We're gonna let Lety win another contest.
Yeah.
No, Lety should be the judge.
I'm gonna shave my head and
Yeah.
get a tank top, and then it's on.
All right. So we've been running about 3 hours, so we probably better start wrapping it up here.
Can I add? Oh no.
Yeah. No. Yeah, please. Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, before we end, I just wanted to say, in November in Denver, Colorado, there's DecuCon. It's an 18+ adult con. I'll be there signing autographs as Vicky. And if any of you guys want to guest too, I can ask the con to fly you guys out. If any of you.
I'll totally do
So
that.
Frank, Lety, if you wanted to do that, they would totally pay for your
Cool.
autographs too.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you
That's
want to do
freaking
that?
Hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll let them know that you
what's
guys
going
are on board too.
I'm silly. I'm dumb.
What month is that in? I'm sorry?
November.
That's
It's
in November.
called DecuCon.
Are they gonna fly me out too? I did the voice of a taxi driver in the game.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah?
In the intro
Nice.
cutscene.
And you're a
Yeah.
celebrity too. Yeah.
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 I wish I could show you the cutscenes of the actors who had to do that with the knobs on their heads. Ziga takes all that and puts it into the game. He's an artist.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
I'll have to follow.
What is it? How do you spell that? DecuCon?
Oh, it's DA. Never mind. It's, I might actually put it in the chat. Daku. DAKU.
I see it. Okay, cool.
Found
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
DAKU, DakuCon.
Yes.
Cool, thanks.
There, I put it in the chat. Found it.
Yep.
The link.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. All right. Bob, do you want to? Oh, actually, yeah, Bob, there's a question I wanted to ask. I think this would be the perfect way to send us out. What is the Eat Games mission statement? Because I don't think we have one. So I'm just putting you on the spot right now. Just come up with one right now. And that can be like, everyone can take that as their little thought nugget for the night, and then we'll all reconvene some other time. What's our mission statement?
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to create a fun, silly game that people could laugh at and have fun with. I never thought it would turn into this. But I mean, that my mission statement was always just to make people laugh. I mean, and what we're doing with Doja Cat now, I'm glad it's getting to a wider audience, and we were able to also hook into donating some of the Doja Cat's proceeds to charity, which was awesome too. So it's just, I mean, I feel like we've already kind of accomplished our mission in that sense, at least the mission that I set out to do back when I started writing this game. I mean, I've gone above and beyond at this point. So as far as what the future holds, I mean, I still got a lot of ideas. So hopefully we can still keep making crazy, funny video games.
Absolutely. Thank you. So
That did not answer the question at all, did it?
Sure,
Jonathan
sure.
seems a little disappointed.
no, not at all. No, that was perfect. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Bob, Don, Alex, Ziga, Jim, Lai, and then not with us right now because they haven't been with us long enough to make it into this one. But Alex Robbins and Cody also listening. Thank you to InfernoZilla, who does our Discord community management. And I'm probably forgetting other people that are directly involved in our project. Yes, which one?
And our super users.
Oh my God, yes, our super
True.
users
Who
who
other you-
like
Patreon patrons.
our patrons. Yeah, like there are so many people we have to thank for the success and for being here today. For all of our players. Thank you to our voice actors, and thank you to the ones that came today that were willing to take 2-3 hours out of your night in the middle of the week to come and hang out with us. And yeah, it's just an absolute pleasure. It's been so much fun, and I hope this is the last time we do this because I think there's still a lot of stones that are left unturned, to be honest.
And thank
So
you. And thank you to Jonathan Cox for putting this all together.
Yeah.
We would not be here.
Absolutely.
We would
Thank
not be
you,
talking about
Jonathan.
this. We would
Thank
not have
you.
had this night without Jonathan. Thank you,
Mhm.
John.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, ending with the best, I guess we can call it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yay.
Bye,
Good night, everybody.
everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Bye bye.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.